What's up, good people? Welcome to the Grown Man Hour with your host, Bernard Riley. Yes, I'm late. Yes, CP time is still in effect, but it's hard work to come in. It's crystal clear HD, so you could expect me to be late. Y'all could have pretty much expected your boy to be late. But shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go. Where is the intro? Let's get it. That's not the intro. Here we go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? What's up, good people? Welcome to the show, the Grown Man Hour with your host, Bernard Riley. I appreciate each and everybody coming through. And as I said in the pre-intro, you could expect a little tardiness. It's hard work getting this crystal clear HD. Being in this crystal clear, it's like you can see all your flaws. I can see how I need to turn down the volume on the Murray's grease. Is just almost don't like being almost don't like being coming in this clear. Almost don't like coming in this clear. But shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate everybody for coming on through. Appreciate everybody who was in the last broadcast. Nothing changed. Nothing changes. Shout out to the early bird squad, those that make it in bright and early before we even get things started. And why does that look smaller? Why does that look even smaller? Let me make that bigger if I can, so I can do a better job at, that might be the best that I can do on that. I got to bring that closer. Technical stuff behind the scenes, don't worry about it. But shout out to the Mac the Trucker. He says, I'm not gonna lie, love the sexy snow bunnies dressed as Catwoman and Harley Quinn on Halloween. Oh yeah, I like her. I love a sexy Halloween costume. I was off the air in the middle of getting my transition together. You got to be careful nowadays. Say you took time off because you were transitioning. I don't want nobody to misinterpret what I meant by that. but I had to take some time off when I was transitioning, so I didn't get to do a Halloween stream. But that's what I would have been talking about. Yeah, I've been lately just touching on the things that I've been wanting to touch on while I was, taking some time off, getting the new studio together. I'll be gradually touching on a lot of those things. Halloween is a weird, very weird, very weird holiday for women. It's a very weird holiday for women, but I love it. I love all the sexy costumes. But this ain't a Halloween show. I got a lot of things on the agenda that I will be talking about. Got a list of things. Got a list of things. Got the top. Oh, see, camera's in reverse. Got the topics or subtopics that I'll be talking about going along on the side of the screen. If you watch Partner Interruption, if you like sports like me, you watch Partner Interruption. I always like how they got the little ticker right there where you can see what they're going to be talking about next. They time it. That's something I can never do. I can never time it. I can never time it like that. Shout out to Freeman's Journal, said I'm making them seasick. Yeah, the way I always, Murray's grease works well. My hair, my texture of hair responds well to Murray's grease, but I need to turn down the volume on it today. I mean, being all in crystal clear HD like this, you can, it's a little too much. It's a little too much. But shout out to the early bird squads, those that make it in bright and early. I acknowledge the Mac the Trucker, uneducated lame in the building, says peace to all. Let's get it. The geek surgeon in the building says peace to the gods and goddesses. Shout out to you, D-Rock Den. Shout out to D-Rock Den, who always sends us a customary cash app as soon as the show gets started. Shout out to KD if you're listening. I know you sent a $40 cash app last time I was on the air, but I was so thrown off by so many different moving parts. I was trying to operate several mics, had an in-studio guest, had a bunch of different mics and angles to play with and the whole works. I was playing around with this. It was a whole ordeal. It was a whole ordeal, and it was a little difficult. And that camera, why is that camera not in focus? Y'all might see me actually get up and go deal with that. Y'all about to see me get up and go deal with that. That camera. Oops. See, I'm about to kick over stuff. Y'all can't see all these cords. Y'all about to see me get up and y'all about to confirm that, yeah, I do got legs, but I got on a suit, but it's not tucked in. Why is that like that? All right, there we go. There we go. Y'all can see how I'm dressed nice, but kind of sloppy because I didn't tuck my shirt in. I was in a rush, but for some reason, that camera is not responding right. See, I still don't got it all right. It came in and then it faded back out. It should be picking me up. Should be picking me up. Let me tweak one thing with that. Give me a second. Give me a split second. Well, y'all probably enjoying seeing this. Y'all probably enjoying seeing a slight debacle anyway. So we gonna shout out to Kevin Samuels. Build it while you fly it. Let's see if I fixed that or not. All right, I got one more trick to fix that. If it don't work, we just gonna rock with it unfixed. If this doesn't work, we just gonna rock with this bad boy unfixed. I'm gonna try one more thing. See, so it's in focus now. It should be making its way over to me. One second. If this one don't act right, it just ain't gonna act right. No big deal. No big deal if that one don't want to act right. Hey, still in focus. Still in focus. Hasn't left me yet. It's still following me. All right. All right. We got that one figured out. I know some of y'all probably enjoyed that. Some of y'all probably enjoyed that debacle. But yeah, we getting it right. We building it while we flying it. Building it while we flying it. And y'all got to see. Now, the only reason I have on pants at all, don't worry about my shirt not being tucked in. The only reason I have on pants is because I'm in studio with multiple camera angles and I got to be more professional. But y'all saw me do the whole show that I was doing before with one camera angle behind the desk. Oh yeah, I was in boxers the whole damn show. So I was only dressed nice from the waist up. I did the show in my I used to do the show in my underwear. Just coming full clean right now. Now that I gotta get dressed and drive to a studio and wear pants every day, I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and acknowledge that I used to do the previous show in box. There's a few people that know that. There's a few people that I have disclosed that information with. but yeah, no, the previous show done in my basement was done in boxers. Getting my Ron Burgundy on. But anyway, I was trying to shout out to Early Bird Squads and I had a debacle. I was trying to shout out everybody that made it in early. Shout out to Mike and Vince Perkins says, your topic about to be fire when you already have dislikes before you start. Yeah, I was a little shocked by that. I got like 3 early dislikes out of nowhere. So I got to figure out how to turn down not just the volume on my Murray's grease, but the volume on the lights too. I'm a little too shiny, but we're gonna be shiny today. At least it's looking like that on my end. I'm looking a bit too like you can see the bright light. There it goes. See when I scoop. See, I just need to scoop forward a little bit. That don't really help. But anyway, it's looking a lot better today than what it did yesterday, and it'll look a lot better tomorrow than what it do today. So there will be daily improvements. But shout out to everybody in the building. Brian Washington, he said, a thick pog dressed as a schoolgirl. Yes. And this is the last one I'll read of the people making it in. I need my water. Making it in bright and early. Says, good morning to Bernard and all in the room. Halloween, the only day that women dress as public sluts. Free attention. Then the man say something. It's not like that. Halloween, birthday girl. Birthday? Is your birthday? Are your birthday on Halloween or is your birthday girl now? That's cool. I feel bad for people that got birthdays on Halloweens and Christmas and whatnot. You don't get to have your own day. Everybody celebrating that day. But all right. But shout out to everybody in the building. We're about to get things going. We're about to get things started. Got a number of topics we're going to get in here. You see the topics ticking on the side of the screen there. You see the topics ticking on the side of the screen. MFers. Why do I have MFers right there? You may be wondering. Well, something that came across my desk, I'll say this to try to sound more important. Something that came across my desk. Something that I didn't think is not important enough to do a whole show on. So little small topics that I might talk for 5-10 minutes on, but not worthy of a whole show. I'll put them in as a little subcategories and we'll go down the list. So that way I can just touch on things real quick. Some people be asking me, hey, do a show on this, do a show on that. I was like, I don't really care to do a show on that, but I'll give my little thoughts. And that's where the little ticker on the side will come from, where you'll see the different topics. So why do I got MFers right there? Well, the MFers, that refers to a story. It's a story out there where a mother is carrying a baby for her son and his husband. I'm going to say that again. A mother is carrying a baby for her son and his husband. So if you don't speak new school relationships, what that essentially is the husband, I mean the son is gay. No, shout out to Riley from the Boondocks. You gay. But no, that means the son is gay and has a husband and they wanted to have a child. The son is gay, he has a husband, they wanted to have a child. And I think the logic is if one of the men's sperm makes the baby, well, then that means the other uh, father won't have any DNA represented in the baby. So I think that's something that they're doing where they're finding a relative, somebody related to the non sperm contributing father, somebody related to him to carry the baby. So at least the baby will have part of his genes because he got 50% of his genes from the mom. So that means, the mom is carrying, he has at least 50% of his mom's genes. So therefore their son will have at least 25% of one of their genes and 50% of the other gene. So you follow. The genes, the son will have the genes of the son will carry his DNA, his DNA basically. That's the logic behind it. That's what they're doing. All right. That's the logic behind it. That's what they're doing. That's what's going on. It's really not. I did a little research. It's not as uncommon as you probably think. It's not as uncommon as you probably think. The thing that just made my stomach turn about it, and the reason I called it that subject MFers, mother. I don't like to cuss in the beginning of the show, but y'all know what I'm saying right there with MFers. Is simply because of, well, this photo right here was the photo that they leaked during the announcement. I won't leave that up there too long because, even though, yeah, I actually respect gay rights and the whole works and everything. I mean, hey, go ahead and get married, do your thing, live your life. But I don't like to see it. I don't like, throw up in my stomach when I see two men kiss. But right now, okay, so if y'all want to do that little thing that you're doing, but you have the mother right there in the picture, half naked, with y'all kissing and rubbing on the belly, it's like it's just do a threesome and get it over with. Like, yeah, like that just looks so incestuous and all kind of stuff. And that popped across my Instagram because you see, I have a ratchet Instagram where I follow a bunch of crazy stuff and I end up pulling some content from it. Then I have a more respectable Instagram where I can no way have my name attached to following all kind of crazy stuff like Instagram thoughts and stuff. But I do follow a lot of crazy stuff to dig content up. I'm pretty sure O'Shea does that too, because if Cardi B farts and don't say excuse me, O'Shea knows that it happens and he can cover it real quick. So you do end up, when you're a content creator, you do have to kind of keep up with some wild and wacky stuff that you really don't care that much about. But that came across right there, and it just looked so throw up. See, I couldn't even see the chat the whole time I was sitting there talking. Shout out to KD. Appreciate that Cash App that you sent me the last time I was on the air. I didn't acknowledge it because I had so many moving parts. I didn't even have my phone wasn't even in the same room as me, so I couldn't see it. I got to set my Cash App up to my computer so I can like probably hear like something when that happened. Somebody said post the link. I'm gonna send that to my Mexican homeboy Yalo. Yeah, man. I didn't even pin that on that community. I mean, on the because they did appear to be Mexican, Hispanic, Latino, or whatever. I didn't even look at it in that way or pin it on that in that category. I just looked at it as that's just some LGBTQ stuff. They push the envelope on a lot of things. And I listen. I've always said I'm in that sense. I'm liberal in the sense that some people should be able to do what they want to do, provided that they're not hurting anybody else, they're not harming anybody else. But then there is agendas that get pushed and overreaches in the agenda. I understand their fight for acceptance. I understand their fight for wanting to wanting to get married. I understand that. I get that. But there's so many times where they start trying to normalize some utter and absolute debauchery, and that does need to be called out. Because just like how we call out on this show when straight people, normal people, no, just playing, not really though. But no, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't even go hard like that when it comes to this kind of stuff. But when straight people like me and Game Changer did a stream when the chick trying to normalize, leaving the family, saying, so what if the dad's not there? If you're not happy, go ahead and leave them. Your happiness is number one. Y'all, you and the kids, y'all still a family. It's 2021. Y'all could do whatever y'all want to do. It's still a family. Or you can marry somebody else or go get with somebody else who got kids. Blended families are beautiful. It's 2021. We could do whatever we want in the name of our happiness. You know, family and outcomes of children be damned. They can do whatever they want. So whenever somebody is trying to normalize some nonsense and publicizing it and promoting it, and it's clear nonsense, it's clear, let them live. Shout out to AC. They on some clear let them live type stuff, then yeah, I'll give some pushback to that. But again, that's a story. That's not something that I would just do a whole show on. But I saw it. I threw up in my mouth just by the sight, and just in case y'all need to throw up in your mouth, in case you didn't adequately throw up in your mouth, there's one more time for you to the son and his husband kissing while rubbing the belly of the mother who's carrying the child for them. I can't prove it. Bill Maher has a segment where he says, I can't prove it, but I just know it's true that they both smashed. They was on some, we're gonna put both of our semen inside her, so we don't even really know who the father is. that way we know we're gonna love them, we'll love the child all the same. That they was on some of that. They was on some of that. But yeah, shout out to the person who sent me that on Instagram. Freedman's Journal, I got your email, so I will try to send you. It's not that much info with it. That's why also I cover it briefly and take it with a grain of salt, because it wasn't a whole lot of info with it. It was just a picture and the caption. So that's why I, cover it with a grain of salt and just throw it out there. But so I tried to research it and find some extra info, because that easily could be very similar to the situation where when that pregnant lady proposed to the guy, and the guy just sitting there looking like, oh my God, he's sitting there like this. And so, those are fake pictures that they make just to blow up on social media, so that's a possibility with that one. I couldn't prove or disprove it, so I just took it, covered it at face value. But I'll send you what little bit of info I got. Maybe you can go to the Instagram page of the person that I saw, that I got it from, and maybe read the comments and find out some extra information. But yeah, that's oh shit, hold on. But that's that story. But MFers, because I think they both effing the mama. But anyway, something else that came across, male birth control. That's one thing that is something I will do a whole show on if we ever get something that's promising in the realm of male birth control. I think that's important. I think it will shut down the game. I think there's a lot of fake hustle on many sides with this. There's women who complain that that the being on birth control is a hassle, but I think there's a lot of women who they don't want men to have that much power and say in it. I think there's a lot of women who are of that opinion. And then there's propaganda in the reporting. There's propaganda in the reportings of male birth control, and I'm trying to actually share something for you all. I'm trying to share something, so give me a slight second while this is something normal that I normally do, but I'm having a problem doing the stuff that I've been doing, oddly enough. But I do want to go over this really quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure hit the like button. Make sure hit the like button. But the male birth control. No, let me do this. Let me put the Kosh app down right there. Shout out to my Patreons. I actually got a new Patreon. My Patreon list, I don't even scroll that anymore because I got to update it. I do have to update that list because that list isn't completely updated right now. So I do have to update that list because that's not everybody who's on that list is not an actual Patreon right now. There's, I think, some new ones that came in and some that dropped off. So shout out to everybody who is a Patreon, but I hesitate scrolling that list because there's people on there who not on there probably don't want to be seen down there. So I got to update that list and I'll start back properly acknowledging the Patreons. And also don't forget, become a member. Yeah, I see that down there. You can become a member by clicking on the right there by the subscribe button, right by the like button, the subscribe button, the bang the bell button, all those buttons, bang all of them. And if you feel so obliged, feel inclined to do so, become a member. Shout out to Freedman's Journal, who's no, that's meant to click on Freedman. He disappeared when I tried to click on him. Shout out to Freedman, who's a member. I see you down there. But well, yeah, let me get into this. I want to talk briefly. Let me get rid of this. Why the hell is that ad right there? No, we need to skip that ad and close that down. Okay, so that's just gonna. Okay, here we go. I think that's how I close that. All right. I do want to get into this because there is a great deal of propaganda with there. This came out October 17th, 2021. They're talking about male birth control. And when I saw this, when I came across, and it said male contraceptive bath device invented in Germany wins Dyson Award. It's like they put stuff out there as if they're getting closer to the male birth control, but when you read it, it's actually not the case. But male contraceptives have previously been rejected for several reasons. Caso offers a user-friendly contraceptive that is easy to use without physical intervention, pain, or side effects. The propaganda that was previously put out there is that they were trying to say that they made some male birth control, but it didn't work because men dropped out of the proceedings. The test subjects dropped out because it was some side effects, and they said it was just headaches, and men dropped out because of headaches, and that's the same problem that women have with birth control. And that was the propaganda that they put out there, but it was other reasons why men actually dropped out of it. But it was 320 men. Well, let me read some more before I get into that. Industrial design. Well, hold on. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. Those who want to read along can do so. And oh yeah, let me do something that I tend to forget to do, and that's drop the link. Let me drop the link to this study in the chat really fast. Let me drop the link to that. Yeah, hit the like button, by the way. Hit the like button. I have no idea where we're at on the likes. But that's the study that I'm going over right now. Nearly 200 people in the building. So hit the like button. Yeah, so it says the invention could be the much more awaited answer for the long-term safe male-based family planning. The current options for males are condoms, which are beneficial to also prevent sexually transmitted diseases, but are uncomfortable for most partners as continuous pregnancy prevention. And vasectomies, arguably the safest method of birth control, but irreversible. My understanding is that they are reversible, but I think the longer that you have them, the harder they are to reverse. Weiss first investigated the notion of male birth control after receiving worrying results from gynecological. There it goes. See, that's where I can't talk. A gynecological exam that revealed precursor cancer cells on her cervix. So, long story short, she's a scientist. She had some problems. She wanted to do something about it. It sounds like it just gets into some boil. I'm going to skip some of it. Also, her mug-sized bath, like in invention, a small, sleek bowl that uses ultrasound waves to temporarily disrupt sperm regeneration, leaving users free to practice birth control sex 2 weeks after using the device. It sounds shaky and flaky as hell. It sounds shaky and flaky as hell. The Okay, here we go with this. Yeah, I apologize. Y'all know. Okay, y'all can't blame this on me not having YouTube Premium. What the hell? I apologize. Build it while I fly it. I just had something. I just had something crazy pop up. I just had something crazy pop up. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? I didn't even get to the main point. Ah. That's popped up and it's gone, and I got to try to dig that up. I apologize. Look, I told you I was going to be some building it while I'm flying it. Told you I was going to be some building it while I'm flying it. Now I just lost my whole link. But long story short, in that article, they made the case that there's some male birth control going on, and they alluded to previous studies that men allegedly dropped out of because of side effects, trying to basically imply that men were too weak to deal with the side effects that women deal with when it comes to birth control, and that was a bunch of bunk. And the other study that I was going to show, the other link that I'll drop in that, I'll put that link in the chat. Y'all could check that out. But no, that is something that I actually care passionately about, even though I just lost my link. And I'll be a minute finding it again. I will be a minute finding that again. So I just give you the summary. They basically was talking to this chick in Germany who don't even got all the work done. She's saying that there's male birth control, but right there, even in the article, they're talking about the men don't want to take the birth control because of side effects. And they said a previous study that was promising had men dropped out of it. And that's why there's no male birth control. And that goes back to what I said about the propaganda that they ultimately throw out there when they're talking about male birth control. I'm going to go over something else really quick. That basically explains the reason why the last study was canceled. So bear with me. I apologize. Not exactly getting a male bath. No, that's not the one. All right. No, the male birth control study wasn't halted because men couldn't handle the side effects. It says last week a study came out that gave us hope in this dreary time. It revealed that let me blow that up and make that a little bigger. All right. Last week's study came out to gave us hope in this dreary time. It revealed that we were one step closer to a male birth control shot, because a recent clinical trial found that hormonal injections given to men can help prevent pregnancy in female partners. However, the study also found that scientists needed to fine-tune the hormonal combination because of its safety concerns. Shortly after the study came out, though, headlines all over the internet claim that the study was called off because men are weak and can't handle normal side effects of birth control that women regularly deal with. That's not exactly accurate. The study, published in the Journal of Clinical, what does that say? Endocrinology Metabolism, was a phase 2 clinical trial that started out with 320 male participants, only 20 of whom ended up dropping out because of side effects, which included depression, mood changes, injection site pain, increased libido, acne, and more. Participants were given injections of progesterone and testosterone, and 75% of them reported that they would be willing to use this birth control method after the trial ended. The study was halted because of safety concerns raised by an independent safety review board, not because men couldn't handle the side effects. Additionally, one of the study participants committed suicide. Holy crap. One of the study participants, one study said he attempted to commit suicide. This one said that he actually, one of the study participants committed suicide, and another was unable to regain sperm function. Women drop out of birth control and IUD studies all the time. I was just reading a study where of 175 women who enrolled, 20 dropped off, and in this one, 320 men enrolled and 20 dropped off. So there's that. Dropped out by 3 months. That's what happens. That's why you over-enroll for studies. Dr. Jen Gunter, an OBGYN who wasn't involved in the study, told The Cut. So there's that. There's that. And so male birth control. The question that I have with that, when it comes to that, side effects and all, how many men out there? Somebody said, you said, yep, sounds like experiments. Yeah, they're experimenting on people. Like I said, I didn't take the jab, as they call it right now, because I don't want to be the guinea pig for nothing. Do not want to do it, will not do it. I'm not going. I am not going when it comes to being a guinea pig for something. But once they run the guinea pigs through the gauntlet, I'm all in. And the dynamic that will change, like that will seriously change the game. But it's funny, and shout out to Game Changer, because he was on the stream yesterday when we were actually talking about dudes who get women pregnant on purpose and all kind of weird stuff like that, stuff that I find absolutely ridiculous. But the fact of the matter is, male birth control will ultimately change the game. And I have my questions about whether or not how many women actually want men to actually have that much control and power over it. And I do believe that, listen, shout out to Angry Man says something like, in order for the Black community to get really turned around, it's going to take an act of God. I say no, it's going to take an act of science, because ultimately the stats that we see that are flipped upside down like that, when it comes to us, those stats will, I think a male birth control will turn those around, even though there are some guys who I mentioned in my last show, how some way, somehow, in the Black community, there are guys without jobs. There are guys who are without jobs, who, when it comes to making bastard babies, they're out there putting up King Robert Baratheon numbers. And he had access to all the women in Westeros. he created, I think, like 22, 23 bastard babies. Like, if Negroes without jobs can put up the numbers of a drunken king, like a drunken whoremongering king, then that lets you know that you gotta question things seriously out there about what will be the actual effect. Were the serial impregnators be more emboldened? Will those who want to get the seed from those serial impregnators before their eggs dry up be more emboldened to do that? Those are questions that I have with that. But I do think just the mere fact that you put men in control, 100% control of it, because I know there are those that like to say, oh, you got control, just put it in your pants. Okay, people are going to have sex. That's not going nowhere. People are going to have sex. But with the male birth control side effects and all, I do wonder to what degree. Will that actually change? I personally think it will make a drastic change. So I'm hoping they do that, but it's not very promising right now. Everything is at the experimental stage. They did find something that actually worked, and 75% of the men who were involved in the study said they will take it if it comes out to market, but there were other safety concerns that they said it's a no-go for now, and that is a good thing. That is generally a good thing, because you don't want something out there that's going to be just too much. Just, I mean, you don't want something out there. I shouldn't say too much. I meant to say too early. Reference, as I always reference nowadays, especially with the Rona out there. I always reference the beginning opening scenes of I Am Legend, where they cured cancer. Fast forward 3 years later, they in The Walking Dead. So those are things that are out there. Those are things that are out there. Evie now in the building. Shout out. She said, your video is the next level, Bernard Riley. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. It was a lot of hard work. I actually didn't sleep last night. I was up doing a lot of stuff, getting ready. Well, okay, I mean, not lie. I slept 2 hours. I slept 2 hours. But so I'm out here on autopilot, and I don't got a coffee maker here at this new studio yet. So I got no amenities, but I do got some water. I do have some water. But let's move on. We about to get to these the hypocritical Halloween chicks. But Jada and Will Pinkett Smith. And yes, I put her name first, and I gave him no, I meant to put Will Smith Pinkett. That's what I did that wrong. I messed that up. So my graphics are incorrect. It was supposed to say Jada and Will Smith Pinkett. I put her in the man category and him in the woman category. So I got that wrong. But I think y'all know where I was going. I think y'all know exactly where I'm going with that. I think y'all know exactly where I'm going and why with that. And by the way, before I get into Jada and Will Smith Pinkett, one thing, as y'all know, like the last show I had JB in studio. Shout out to him. But the setup is still there. You can see right now where you can see, well, you can't see both mics because the graphics are in the way, but I got extra mics in the couch right there and everything. I got actually more mics and might be having more seating. It'll be in studio guests regularly, but right now I've been so busy trying to get all of this set up to where I wasn't able to exactly do the work to get to start booking guests in studio like I wanted to. But that's what's coming down the pipeline. So yeah, I'll be looking out for that. So today and maybe tomorrow it might be just me in here, but be on the lookout for changes coming down the pipeline as far as that. Got multiple mics, multiple camera angles, multiple things going on to make this bigger, and better. But Jada and Will Smith Pinkett, this is another one of those things that people ask you to cover it, and I'm like, I don't got a lot to say about it. It's a crazy thing that's happening where these women publicly, and we're talking wives. We're not talking about like Brittany Renner type stuff that I didn't cover either, because thoughts will be thoughts, and they're going to thought it up, and it could be fun to cover. It can no doubt be fun to cover. It's something to talk about there, but I didn't take that much time covering that. But I am more interested. I'm more interested, and I think it's more cringe when an actual wife with a public persona and a public husband does something subtly cringy or just full blown cringy than a insta thought doing some insta thoughty stuff. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're there for. Uh-oh. Shaka Nulu says it looks and sounds like a kung fu movie where you're speaking, but the speed doesn't match. See, it's more things I got to work out. Oh, dang, I can see that now. I wonder why that is. I don't know why that is, but yeah, I see it now. And that's annoying the hell out of me. Now, for those who are a little techie who understand, I do have an Elgato Cam Link. That's supposed to be the device that has you sped up. Ah, said record in 60 FPS. Gotcha. Gotcha. You know what? When I was playing around with this thing, that is something that I saw. Let me write that down. That's something that I saw, but it was so many moving parts and so many things that I think I did forget to set. It's man, these camera settings to get it just right for streaming. It's a pain in the ass. No other way around it. No other way around it. So I do appreciate that. But no, Shakanulu, thank you. Because I didn't notice. I didn't notice at all. So I do appreciate that. But no, I will make that adjustment. I think somebody, who was that just threw that adjustment out there? Shout out to Lionel Celeste Etherbag. I think I said that right. No, I don't think you're the only one that saw it, because now that you mention it, it's really undeniable right now. Like it's like I can't even focus right now because you said that. But shout out to you. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate the stuff. I prefer, if it's something that you know could actually help me, I prefer you send in an email, because it's really hard right now to catch stuff like that when I'm doing the show. Like, I just happened to glance at Shakanulu's comment, and I happened to glance at Lionel's comment, and so I was able to write the information down. But it's hard to to pick up the information out of a live chat. It's hard. So if you're seriously trying to help me, it's best to send the necessary info in an email, because that way I can look at it, I can open it up, I can read it, and I could make the proper adjustment. See, but what I'm going to do right now is put my mic in front of the camera. See, now y'all can't see my lips move. I mean, I put my mic in front of the camera, put my mouth in front of the mic. Now y'all can't see my lips move. You see how I fixed that problem right there? You see what I did there? Y'all can't see it now. But Jada and Will Smith Pinkett, that's one of those things I don't got that much to say about. It's interesting because, and I jokingly, he said this nigga coming for Phil Advice shows neck. Yeah, no. I'll never be a Hotepian YouTubian, a YouTubian Hotepian. I'll never be on that stuff. I will never be on that. So I don't like the comparison there. I don't like the comparison there. But but shout out to Edward Anderson. I pointed this out before. These light-skinned wives married to public, high value or high earning men just be emasculating the hell out of them. You got Jada doing this stuff that she's doing. I don't even need to relitigate all the details of it. You got Aisha Curry, she twerking for the gram, basically. She twerking for the gram. She's talking, complaining because she don't get hit on no more. She doing all of that. She got all of that going on. Would it Beyonce mama cut her husband's testicles off live on a Black Love show? It's like they legitimately be clowning, where they have the men of the highest esteem. These like, we're fantastic when you need them. You got to get your light-skinned women in line, man. I know your team light-skinned women. You gotta get them in line. Al Boogie, he said, I use a leather do-rag. Hey man, this camera 2 HD. Hold on, where's that comment? He said I use a leather do-rag. This camera is 2 HD. I need to turn down the volume on the Murray's grease. Need to turn down the volume on the Murray's grease, man. I do. But when it's in regular definition, you can't exactly see that. You can't exactly see that in regular definition. But no, it's light skinned wives going wild nowadays with this whole thing. It's ridiculous. And again, I always do this. I always say shout out to the manosphere on the topics that there are things 5 years ago, 10 years ago that they will be able to get away with. Nobody would say anything. They could just do it. They could just say ridiculous stuff and it just goes unquestioned and unchecked, more or less. Unquestioned and unchecked, more or less. And nowadays, that's not the case because it's good brothers holding the line, calling this stuff out. Shout out to everybody in the sphere who goes in on these things, because how the old adage, shout out to, I think Donovan Sharp is the one who put it that way or phrased it that way. We grow up thinking women are made of sugar and spice and everything nice and they could do no wrong. And that's a big reason why we end up making a lot of the mistakes that we make with women, because we think that they can do no wrong. We just think that, hey, you just show up, be a decent dude, and yeah, she's just going to fall in line because women are genuinely good people. Well, we find out that, that they're more cutthroat. But when we get so conditioned into thinking that, women could do no wrong, men are the problem, then we just that's what causes us to overlook stuff. And so shout out to the sphere for waking men up to the nonsense and the lunacy of it all. But the topic that's ultimately titled in the thumbnail is referring to female hypocrisy. Let's go ahead and get into that. Let's hit the like button. Now. One thing that I want to point out, even though I didn't do an exact stream on the Glendon Cameron situation, I know where I'm at. I got no defense for anybody who's on some predatory stuff when it comes to young girls. I give no defense whatsoever. Y'all know where y'all know my position on that kind of stuff. But there's always a but, and the manosphere does a great job at pointing out the other side, the overlooked side of things. Manosphere does a great job at pointing that out. And one thing that I absolutely do want to point out, I got to point out here today, a lot of black women, they will say things like, hey, protect young girls. A young black girl is the most unprotected, and y'all shouldn't be preying on young girls or sexualizing young girls. They shouldn't be sexualized. If you do that, you're an absolute degenerate. You're an absolute perverted degenerate. Young girls at no instance should be sexualized or looked at in any type of sexual way whatsoever. And you are an absolute depraved monster and degenerate if you sexualize a girl in any way. They say that, and then they go dress up like this for Halloween. The glaring contradiction there. Now, you could argue that the same women who dress up like this are not the same ones who are making those points, but I've never heard any of the women who make that point, who ride hard against men being attracted to younger looking women. I've never seen them at all ride hard or say anything, remotely anything, to women who get dressed up like this. It seems like if they're consistent, they would be like, hey, you guys shouldn't be predatory, shouldn't even be sexually attracted to younger girls. And it seems like they should also be like, wait a minute, you women shouldn't be going out dressing up, playing make-believe, going up dressed like a make-believe naughty 12-year-old. Y'all shouldn't be doing that either. But they never say that. And that's why I always say, when they talk all that stuff and then they go out on Halloween dressed like this, and they do the whole works. They mimic the look of a child and sexualize it. But men are the ones that get accused and criticized. You shouldn't be sexualizing a child. But left to their own devices in Halloween, that's the one. That's the one time in the year. As I forgot. I don't know if it was Evie or somebody alluded to it. That's the one time of the year where they can just be unapologetic whores or thoughts, and nobody cares and nobody says anything. That's the one time when the warden isn't on guard. No social rule of law. Left to their own advices, what do? They sexualize or imitate a sexualized little girl. That's what they're doing. Now, in no way, shape, or form would I ever sit here and try to argue that excuses a guy for doing something completely out of line, inappropriate, or just bluntly illegal. In no way, shape, or form does that excuse a guy whatsoever. It doesn't excuse a guy whatsoever, but somebody needs to be mentioning that, needs to be occasionally mentioning that the act of a grown woman going out dressed up. And by the way, let me just go ahead and show my cards real quick. She's sexy as hell. I'm all in. You got me. I mean, let me not do like I accuse Republicans on Fox News when they talking about stories involving sex, or they show like a video of Beyonce gyrating. This is ridiculous that she's on Super Bowl. This is a family event and she's out there gyrating, and they sitting there just sitting there with a disapproval boner, looking at a young chick twerk around. Like I'm not that guy. I'll go ahead and show my cards. If they that's doing it for me. I ain't go front. She's definitely doing it for me right there. But just show my hand on that one. But what I'm highlighting here is that hey, hold on, don't be coming at me. Don't be coming at me crazy. He said, Bernard, like I'm hefty. Hey, I said it once. I said it again. I like to see booty meat jiggle. So that's so yeah, I think it's a lot of good jiggly booty meat on that one. Is what it is. Is what it is. So y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. And, it's nice. It's nice. Whatever. But hey, that's my jam right there. That's my jam right there. But is what it is. Is what it is. But no. Seriously, on a serious note, I've shown my cards. I'm a man who's attracted to women, and when they do the sexual thotty things, is what it is. My position is there's a percentage that are going to be that way, and the society that we live in, with the way things are set up, it increases a percentage that are going to be that way, and it is what it is. It's a certain amount of toothpaste that can't get put back in the tube, and I understand that. And we talk about more traditional things, and we do that a lot because I like to highlight why things went wrong, and I like to highlight the narratives and the facts and the stats that don't revolve around just saying that men are garbage, men are trash. There are there are things that changed in women, things that women push for and the next generation happily benefit from, that ultimately result in the collapse and everything that results in ultimately what we see here in the community. Like those facts can't be denied. Those facts can't be denied. And that's not even really truly what I'm here to talk about with this one. I'm just here to talk about the women who ultimately go full whole hog criticizing men. And yes, men ought to be criticized when they have truly done something wrong. They should be criticized. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Ain't no if, ands, or buts about that. They should be criticized. But nowhere in the conversation is there ever any, not even a faint afterthought that says, wait a minute, if we care about protecting young girls from predatory men, if we actually care about protecting young girls from predatory men, maybe we maybe this yearly ritual of women getting dressed up like little girls and going out half naked twerking is probably a bad thing. Now, I understand why there's a lot of guys who's like, I ain't about to say nothing about that. They can get dressed up half naked, however, in whatever theme they want to, and go twerk around. That's great. But it seems like the women who are on the moral high horse when it comes to men being with younger women or men being predatory, which you should be on a moral high horse about that if man is actually preying on a truly underage girl. Like you should be on a moral high horse about that. But they're not going to uh, even start a slight subtle movement to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't maybe us women shouldn't participate in the sexualizing of children either. It's amazing that they're not going to do that. And that goes unlooked at, unaccounted for. They don't talk about it. They don't think about it. Nobody mentions it. It's just a faint, just afterthought that's just out there. And so I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to do a Halloween stream, but I was busy, getting things set up. So I circled back to touch on this, and I touched on the other thing, few other things that I wanted to touch on the the male birth control, the MFers. If you came in late, oh, by the way, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat if you want to come up and chop it up on any of these topics. I think I'm going to save the meritocracy one because I'm kind of off of that wave. That was going to be the headline topic today, but I ended up going with the with the Halloween story. So I think I'm going to save that meritocracy one because it was a really good discussion with Ben Shapiro and another gentleman whose name I can't remember. That basically refers to how there's a lot of black folks who, quite simply, they'll complain about this system and fight against this system and basically saying that things ought to be changed in this system. But by changing that system, but it's like when the people who are doing that are people who are very accomplished, and which means that this meritocracy that they're fighting against, you're fighting against a meritocracy that you're benefiting from because you have merit. So that's the topic that I'm gonna cover. Black people who have merit are in a meritocracy and are doing really, really well. Who are doing really, 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 really well in this meritocracy, but they're complaining and fighting against it. They're fighting against the thing that they're benefiting from. Instead of arguing that a lot of black folks need to increase their merit, or as we say in this space, increase your value. Raise your value. That's what we ultimately say in this space. Instead of a conversation about that, a more honest, legit conversation about that, they'll rather say things that basically kick the legs out from under the system that they're benefiting from. So there's going to be a stream coming up on that. There will be a stream coming up on that one, and so yeah, we'll definitely see how that goes. Shout out to JB who was in the building, my first in studio guest. shout out to Jonathan Barronville. Definitely had some good conversations with him. A lot of things. A lot of things we talked about, went over a lot of things coming down the pipeline. Just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. Now I gotta have some water. Now I got to have some water. And while I wait for people to come on up, I'll check and see if anything on the Cash App end of things. I'll check and see if there's anything going on the Cash App end of things. And like clockwork, my man D-Rock Den came through with his customary, where is it at? Wait for it. D-Rock Den came through with his customary $5. And I also got a shout out KD. I'll be forgetting to shout out Cash Apps live on the air, so I'm kind of glad I'm doing this right now. Got to shout out KD in the building. Who came with we're looking at a $40 Cash App in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Now I'm gonna give it a minute. If nobody comes up, I can get off of here after an hour monologue and get back to playing around with these cameras. I will happily do that if that's what I must do. So I'll give y'all a couple more minutes to make it up. Now this has happened before where I was like, hey, if anybody coming up, we're gonna go ahead and get off the air. We're gonna call it early on this one or whatever. And then, right when I was about to hit the end stream button, somebody popped up. All right. And then when that person popped up, we started talking, and then somebody else popped up. And then somebody else popped up, and then somebody else popped up. And then it ended up being a 6-hour stream that I came in like, hey, we having a short one here today. But it turned into 6 hours. I don't know if that's what's about to go down today, but we shall see. But shout out to everybody in the building. I do appreciate everybody for coming on through. Let me check on a few things as we wait, as we give it a chance, opportunity for somebody to come up. I'm sitting here low key. Oh, damn. Okay. I'm seeing how that look on my phone. And yeah, that do look good. And my waves are popping. Because it's kind of harder to tell on this big monitor. The resolution is not good on that. But it is a solid look. So I do like what I got going on right there. The camera work is solid, but like somebody pointed out, my mouth is not in sync. So we got 209 people watching. Oh, 172 on the likes. That's actually solid. At the 1 hour. Well, at the 1 hour mark, the likes are normally closer to even with the views, but never that close. So the likes are actually solid today. So I do appreciate everybody coming through on the likes. And we got my man Edward Anderson in the building. Let me make sure I can hear you, Edward Anderson. Go ahead. You got the flow. You got the mic. Ed, say
my
something.
bad. I'm here. This have me like you fucking up my show, man.
Oh, no, you good.
No, man, I'm not even gonna front. I've been just in here for the chat. I've been on mute, so I got a couple of on time. So I don't even know. I know you were talking about Will and Jada, hypocrisy.
No, I'll go ahead and recap my position when it comes to the Halloween hypocrisy, and it sort of goes back to the reaction that they had kind of sort of heading into Halloween with the old Glendon Cameron situation, where me and you had some disagreement
Oh
on that because
God, don't.
we not relitigating that.
I'm trying to turn the damn page. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, no, we ain't relitigating that one. But the fact of the matter is the same women who will speak out just full all guns blazing pitchforks about men, viewing young girls as sexual, which they shouldn't. Men shouldn't be viewing them as sexual. They shouldn't be sexualizing young girls. Those same women will either a lot of those same women, when it comes to Halloween, what will they do? They will go and they will go out on Halloween dressed up like a goddamn little girl.
So, oh, yeah,
That was essentially my point. It seemed like they would also be calling out the women, like, wait a minute, if sexualizing children is wrong, it seemed like that same group of women would be going after the women who get dressed up on Halloween, sexualized or perpetuating a sexual look of a child. They're
yeah,
trying to look like a
that is hypocritical as hell. And also, and even though this isn't always the same women, David Carroll, one of the clips that David Carroll showed was pretty much Bernice Burgos. That he was mistaken because her daughter is older than that because she had the kid young, so had so she's like 20, but I've seen the concept where you'll have females on TikTok and then their daughters will be on TikTok and then it's like whatever trend and dance, and then like I said, twerking is a mating call. So
Yep.
I mean, and that needs to be that needs to be put out there in the lexicon. Like that is not like, I don't know why people are trying to normalize twerking, because to be honest with you, only black women are really trying to put twerking everywhere. Everybody, and I ain't saying that black women are the only ones to do it, but they're the ones that are trying to, like, you got Sierra trying to normalize that in weddings, and then you got people that are trying to validate that. Like, they're letting you do that so you can be seen as the face of that. And then y'all don't even understand that, but whatever. But you see that on TikTok and on stuff. And I'm not going to say it's like a lot, but it's a lot more than people say.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
no doubt.
sexualization, see, this is where it ultimately comes down to. I want to recontextualize it a little bit. It comes down to women. You take a guy like Uncle Luke, very known for being sexual, not known for dealing with the younger aspect of it, right? So even if we just keep it on adult, like complete adult, let's say 25 and up sexuality, keep it there. What you have is when men sexualize women, even if they're 25 or up or whatever, that's seen as oppression or a demeaning of women. But when women sexualize women, like Nicki Minaj before Cardi B, Little Kim before that, but it really, I think, really got corporate when Nicki Minaj came into play, where it was like mainstream. Women see that as empowerment. The same women see, being they call it sexual empowerment, or they want to reframe the term in like sex workers. And the reality is you can't have it both ways. Men are not going to let you have it both ways, because what you're doing is, for the next generation, you're normalizing them viewing you that way. This is why you have things like pump and dump and stuff like that. And the truth is, the women, the dudes are not imposing that on the women. The women are doing that. And then basically what women want is, they want everything to be valid when they want it to be valid. There is no real stand. There is no. Let's not even call it standard. There is no structure or decorum to anything. It's just whatever my feelings want. If I want to be a baby mama, a single mother, that's the same as a wife. That's really what they want. They don't want to say that because they know they can't be defended if they do. But that's really what's going on here. And I don't have a problem with women sexualizing themselves. Sexualizing themselves. But you were right on that little girl thing. There's multiple different ways of sexualizing yourself. You could even did the cosplay stuff, but you chose that. And that little skimpy outfit, like that's some Asian shit. That ain't even in really an African American culture like that. So
well, I mean, it's they do it in all different kinds of ways.
Well, what I'm saying, let's be clear here. I went to school in Chicago for a time when I was in elementary school, and we had uniforms. So I mean, yeah, but most of these schools don't have uniforms like that no more. So the reason
Right.
why that's an Asian culture is because they make them wear uniforms like across the board. So
No,
you,
it's I got to correct you there. It's been a thing here from Catholic school, parochial schools. It's been that
which
for
most black
years.
people are not in Catholic school. So I mean,
It, it,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I'm talking about in black culture. You look at the majority of African Americans, they're not wearing uniforms. So that's not something that would be akin to them as it would be to maybe other groups in the United States. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. Hold on, real quick, Judge. I'm gonna go to you in a second. Shout out to everybody in the building, and shout out to Lionel Celeste Etherbag. Says the women who have a problem with it don't want older establishment men to have the option to date younger women because that means they lose out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, no, that's absolutely true, but that's kind of a separate issue
yeah.
like
That's
that.
a sexual politicking issue.
Yeah. This is something different where you know a man preying on a underage girl, we can all agree, okay, that's wrong. However, when when all the defenses are down, the social judgment is down, there's no social penalty for how women go out and dress. What do? They go out and dress like a sexed up
Well,
13
well,
year
well.
old.
Let's call this what it is. You don't even have to go underage. The truth is, if you're a 40-year-old dating a 21-year-old, that's going to be a problem for the majority of black men and black women. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she's making the decision, because even if we get past that, then it becomes, oh nigga, you must be tricking. It's all, because that's really what it is from the dude standpoint. Dudes don't, black men, and this, it's a lot of moving parts here, but like that shit, they jump on it because that gives them some moral authority. But let's say they're 21 or 22. Well, you really legally can't say anything. At that point, now you look like you just hating.
Right.
But I've heard people say, "Oh, well, you're creepy. You're this. You're that." And you'll never hear these dudes say it in reverse. No matter how old the female is, you'll never hear a woman referred to as creepy. I don't care if the Jada Pinkett August Alsina thing, never refer to Jada as creepy. It'll never be
Right.
seen as that. So I get where you're trying to go with the underage thing, but the thing about it is, what you do is you give people an easy out on that, because they're gonna say, well, it doesn't matter, they're underage. So let's age it up a bit and put it to the 21, 22, 23 range. And because you got black people, as Kevin Samuel said, that delayed adulthood, where they'll be calling 21, 22, 23-year olds babies too.
Mm. All right, Judge Zilla in the building. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Hey, right on. Thank you. As it pertains to this portion of the topic, again, I think the better representation instead of the schoolgirl outfit would have been the cheerleader outfit. That would be more
Yeah, that one
representative
too.
to the
Facts. No,
to,
Yeah.
facts.
to the demographics here in the U.S. But I see where the schoolgirl.
Yeah,
uniform
no,
has-
no. See, and that's where I got to show my hand. This I'm just was really turned on by her. So she like kind of started the whole theme that I went with. But you
Yeah.
are right. I should have went with if I wouldn't have saw her picture first, I wouldn't have went with a theme built around that.
Right on. Yeah,
I
no,
should've-
that,
I
bitch,
should've-
that bitch is big, Bernard. So but
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
a little bit, but anyway, carry on.
cheeseburger and fries away. But
Yeah, she's one double quarter pounder away. I give you that. I give you
they
that.
the more important topic from my perspective, and it was your initial topic about the male birth control.
Cool. Yeah, let's go on
And
that one.
I don't know if you recall back in the My Brother's Keeper program time that Obama was putting forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that got squashed by the women, right? And then the next thing was, I think, in your area, right, in the Detroit thing, there was a Detroit thing for boys and for men patrolling, and that got put down by
Yeah,
the
the
feminists.
Detroit 300. Yeah,
Yep.
something like that. Yeah.
At the same time, there was a trial, right? A trial going on for male birth control, right? And that was pulled because funding was pulled because feminists specifically said that it takes that male birth control takes that responsibility. Like they believe that everything having to do with birth should be, all those responsibilities and all those rights should only be on the woman's side of things, right? Men are responsible for it, but the rights are all on the women's side. That it takes the authority away from women if they do. And again, from my position, again, people pretend like okay, getting pregnant is easy and difficult at the same time. If you have biological complications, it makes it difficult, but it makes it more difficult. But we understand, right? Those of us who've taken health class, right, or paid attention in health class, like there's like 4 to 5 days in the month in which you can get pregnant, right? There's an ovulation cycle. It's so there. My point being is that as an adult, there are no accidental pregnancies. There are no accidental.
Not on the female side, because they understand.
There may be
they understand their cycle.
Right. They understand their cycle. They know what an ovulation cycle is. They know.
Wait, hold on. Let me make sure. And this is where I gotta plead some ignorance of understanding the inner workings of the female body. I mean, I understand the outside of the female body very well, but the inside of it, okay. Basically, I understand that there's an ovulation cycle. Are you saying it's to the point where practically they know when they're ovulating and can get pregnant?
Yes.
It's just a flat out non-negotiable. I know during these 5 days of the month.
Because that's a part.
It's basically immediately after the period, basically.
Right. What is menses? Right. The menses is the uterine shed off, right, and disposal of a spoiled egg, essentially. Right. That's what that is. So when the fresh one comes in, you have a 4 to 5 day period on a healthy person in which, right, they can become pregnant. Once that does not happen, once the membrane becomes more rigid, right, it begins that process of decay and shed.
Gotcha.
So for all these chicks, we know. So we established that. Going back to the part of the male birth control thing, what I want to establish though is this is where, Judge, I have no reason to think you're making that up. I believe you, but this is where it becomes imperative on the manosphere as a collective, especially people that are more, when I say authority figures, like they like to lean on the data, they like to lean on, they present the information, whether it's an Obsidian, a BGS, even like an O'Shea, Angry Man, whoever. This is where folks, or other folks, this is where the space, we got to start really rail gunning those articles so people can see that that's just not some stuff that's being pulled out. Because most people will say, Judge, is they'll say, oh, I need to see an article, I need to see some information, because that just sounds like something that somebody would just say. That's how these people would approach it. And so stuff like that, we got to already kind of put that in the lexicon, so when you say it, it's not like we got a video where somebody covered it already. And as far as what you're saying, because that's some really damning shit what you said. Like when you said that they believe that, like, if the reason for not having male birth control but it's because women believe they should control birth, well, yeah, you still do that. What you're essentially saying is you don't really believe in somebody's body, somebody's choice. You really don't believe that if you're saying that, because again, a man's seed belongs to him. You have no control. Like honestly, that's outside of your purview. If I decide to have sex,
I've got to stop you right there. That's not true. A man's seed doesn't belong to him. Legally, a man's seed doesn't belong to him.
Are you talking about before sex or after sex?
Anytime. She can take that semen anytime.
I get what you're talking about with insemination, but
she can take that semen and put it in her vagina.
Yeah, I understand.
Whatever she wants, whether they engaged in sex or not.
Yeah,
and
so
he is still responsible for that.
Yeah, so I understand that part. But what I'm saying, from the male birth control stuff, if you're gonna shut down male birth control under the fact that you should control birth, see, that's the stuff men need to be aware of, because you got a lot of these dudes they don't understand the insidiousness of, and all, like, even some of these women don't understand. They go along with it. They're kind of like purposely ignorant, because I think they know more than what they do, but they know enough to know there's doors that shouldn't be open. But if you, and also with the My Brother's Keeper thing, we should have really made it very clear that the people you're supporting, the women you're supporting, I'm talking about women, are doing this. So when you all come around talking about where are the good men, why are the men on pump it up, why are the men on some independent, selfish stuff, it's because that's your job to regulate those females. If they're doing all of that, then essentially what you're saying is you're making it very clear that what you want is for black men, for men to be eunuchs. And this is why women operate in deception, because when you make stuff clear like that, then dudes are just going to go in a direction that benefits them, and they're going to realize you don't. And this is why we get into all
Wait,
these
hold
games
on, wait.
that
Let's
play.
back up. Where did you get eunuchs out of that from? I must have missed something. I
If
could hear
you're
you when I was up, but I must have didn't
if you're essentially saying that men have all the responsibility for birth but none of the control, even so, by that definition you're against male birth control. If that's the reason you're against it, then essentially you're already declaring that that is literally a gynocentric stance, if there ever was one.
Let me illustrate this for you. It's a suable offense for a man to have a vasectomy and not tell his wife or significant other if they're in a common law situation. It is a suable offense.
Is that statewide? I mean, countrywide?
I don't know if it's countrywide, but the cases have been brought, the cases have been litigated, and
now keep in mind you said common law, so are you talking about not marriage? Because that's crazy. Even with marriage I can see, but common law, who determines common law?
well, because
Like,
because common law is a determination of, right. It is a determination
because
based on
common law
not
only
being formally married.
because common law only should even matter when it comes to kids. You know, if you don't have kids with them, see, this is the type of stuff that would never.
Again, suable means civil court, right? It means a civil case can be brought against
Well, you can
not a
sue
criminal
people
case.
for anything. I want to see how what's likely for somebody to win. I want to see
Right. I
somebody
wouldn't bring
win.
it up if there weren't women winning.
Yeah, I want to see. No, again, but I'm just judge. I'm not denying what you're saying. I'm just acknowledging that this is where stuff in the space where these got to be videos that kind of talk about some of this stuff, and then when it gets brought up, because when it gets brought up, I'm gonna keep it real with you. If somebody says, "Where's the article on that? Where's all that on that?" We should already have that stuff ready. Not saying you. I'm just saying as a group. We need to start having that stuff ready, because that's what people are going to easily see to dismiss that and just say,
Right, but they don't have to believe me. Like, Google is your friend. Actually, I would say probably look for this under Bing, because
Well, we understand the disingenuousness of a lot of that stuff, but it's designed to undermine our credibility, because they could say the same thing about us. They could say, "Well, you're talking about it, which means you should know where it is." I'm just saying. I'm not doing. I'm just saying, because that's
But
that's
again,
what we always get attacked with.
This trails also into the situations where husbands have had vasectomies, but their wives get pregnant, and they're responsible for the child support on the children when they divorce, because obviously it's not his. Right? This is all part of that. This is all part and parcel with that, of women having all of the rights due to procreation.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I already told you this shit's a
0% of the
gynocracy.
responsibility after the fact.
And what you're doing is you're showing, this is showing how matriarchal even greater America is outside the black community. Because a lot of this stuff is what you're talking about is not necessarily with black people. I'm assuming it's with white people. This is where you got stuff like divorce court and stuff like that. Not divorce corp. CORP, like documentaries and stuff like that. It talks about that, and that was all white folks that was in that. So it goes deep. I focus on the black community, but I realize on the other side it goes a lot deeper to even with a lot of white, because a lot of white manosphere don't be bringing up the stuff you talk about right now.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, a lot of the white manosphere doesn't bring up kind of the stuff that you're talking about right now.
Doesn't?
Not like the more, they don't. Not the more mainstream ones.
No, I mean, this is a pretty solid men's rights deal.
All of the white, well, you can show me the videos.
Well, okay, I haven't heard none of them
white
talk about
manosphere
that.
is not all, they're not all like cookie cutter man's rights. Like,
That's
so yeah,
true,
in
but
the man's rights sector, yeah, because they're dealing with the laws. But the folks that are in the white manosphere is not necessarily covering that angle. Man's right is kind of a separate thing. It's kind of like when we talk about pro-black people on YouTube versus people that are like legit on the ground pro-blacks.
He's talking about Rolo, if I may, Ed. And good morning, everyone. Or good
morning.
afternoon now. Excuse me. Good afternoon, everybody on the East Coast. Ed is talking about Rolo Tomasi, Richard Cooper, um,
Sandman, those
Sand,
groups.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
I
speaking
know
of
those
those
names, but I've never listened to their content, so I couldn't speak to
Okay, so he's talking about those people who would be more popularized in our time right now in this moment on social media. Paul Elam, A Voice for Men, etc. et al. They've kind of receded a bit from the social media spotlight. So Edward is talking more about the people that are in the moment right now in the spotlight. They don't necessarily take a men's rights tack with regard to legislation, laws, and so forth. I think that's what he means.
Yeah, they don't disagree with it, but they're not like on it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, ultimately, the point that I wanted to make here with regards to that is to point out in I didn't necessarily hear that. If he said it before I came over, I apologize, Bernard, but I didn't necessarily hear that angle of what your explanation was for the male birth control situation, because it's really not just a side effect or a medical issue or a trial failure issue.
Right.
The success of these things is also politically based, based upon based upon that feministic belief, or
Yeah.
not, I won't even say guys sector, but feministic belief that women should have all control of the rights of reproduction, versus and men should have the responsibility of the results.
I'm
The problem
I'm
I'm having-
glad you brought a lot, because you brought a lot even that I didn't think about. Go ahead. Yeah.
I've got to go, but thanks for having me up, man.
Hey, all right, Judge.
Go ahead, old man.
The problem I'm having with the
All right,
conversation,
thanks, Judge.
I did listen to Judge and Edward's exchange, and I'm inclined to agree with Edward on this. Number one, the onus falls to those who are making the claim to bring evidence in support of their claim.
Mm-hmm.
Saying Google it is not sufficient. It suggests that you have a weak claim.
Yeah.
If
The
you make a
audience is
claim
yeah.
and somebody asks you for veracity on that claim, and your response is Google it, it's going to give the perception, even if it's not true, that your argument is weak. It's non-existent. The onus falls on those that make the claim to bring ready evidence in support of their claim. That's number one. So the black manosphere got work to do on that.
Yeah,
We got to be able to bring. We got to be able to bring those of us, and I'm including all three of us on the panel now. Those of us who are actual content creators, as well as those who join on panels like a Judge Zilla. The onus falls on us. If we're going to make a claim X, we damn sure better well bring evidence in support of Claim X. It's got to be watertight. It's got to be airtight. And personally, I always try to bring. If anybody like really cues in on this, Bernard might know about this. What I've tried to do over the past 6 years is when I make a claim, I try to. I'm not saying I'm perfect in this regard, but I always try to bring 3 independent sources of evidence in support of my argument. I always try to bring at least 3.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm just simply saying you're right, Edward. We got to do a lot better in that regard. There's always room for improvement. And on this note, I want to congratulate you, Bernard. Your studio looks great. I'm considering calling my congressman because there should be a law against that, and I feel some kind of way about it. And
I mean, I wasn't gonna come in joking about the studio. The studio looks great, but you do look like you're missing a halo, with the yellow light.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then the Saint Bernard will be complete.
I gotta work out some kinks because that light, it kind of has to be there. I got to figure out a way to position it to where it give me the lighting I need, but not be caught in the frame of the camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a work at progress.
But
Process. But
I've been on the other
thank you,
side.
Obsidian. Thank you. I'm looking for it. I heard you've been given a teaser trailer of your soon to be camming up sometime next year.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm working. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
It's a process. It's a process. Trust me, I know.
And I've been on the other side of this argument too with the information, because you know people me talk about it's YouTube, and then I've had exchanges with Obsidian where he's kind of we had conversations about that too. So I've been on the other side of it. But when you're starting to bring like stuff that's new, a lot of the stuff that I say is been out there and been known. And so it's like kind of like if I say, well, single motherhood is like 60 something %, and then you're talking about where's the evidence. Okay, well, I mean, that's disingenuous. Like,
no. And I'll tell you the reason why, Ed. And I know where it's coming from, what you're saying. And there is some truth to that. There are dishonest, dishonorable actors in the public discourse with regard to black people. That is to say, on social media, black love questions in discourse and so forth. You're right. There are dishonest. It's what there's a legal term that's called that's called arguing in mala fide. It comes from the Latin. In mala fide means in bad faith. So we do have bad faith actors among us. You're right about that. Yeah. But the other piece though, Ed, is we can't lose sight of the fact that we're getting new listeners all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. We're getting new people who have never heard. I know that sounds strange for us. We've been on it's kind of like a fishbowl deal. We've been with the guppies in the fishbowl. We always assume that there's always a fishbowl and there's water and all that. But there are other entities that don't know nothing about the fishbowl, don't know nothing about water. They're coming in all the time. And so therefore, and I know of what I speak, you got to get used to repeating yourself over and over and over and over. I know that because I listened to you for a long time, Edward, and I think I understand you fairly well. I know that's very irritating for you. That's very, it is rather impatient. I understand. Believe me, I do.
Especially when motherfuckers are trying to be content creators and then they want stuff to be repeated. If you're just an audience member, I have a little bit more tolerance for that. But if you're like somebody's trying to be a content creator where you're gonna make content, it's kind of like you kind of need to do your research as somebody putting out content, you know, if you want somebody to validate you for what you're talking about. But no, David Carroll says that repetition is the mother of skill. I hear that. You're one of the few people he actually mentions without, talking shit.
Yeah, he gave me some big props the other day. He said the reason why I respect Obsidian is because, and it goes right to at which point with Judge Zilla, is that every time he contacts me with something, he's always got the receipts. And I've learned over the years that's so important. I keep saying this to the brothers. I got to keep hammering this, and we're going to make this point, Bernard, when we're in Atlanta next month. We are no longer mujahideen warriors in the hills and the mountains. We are no longer guerrilla warriors, duking it out in the jungle.
What's with you? We have won, yo.
We won. We won. We won the war, the gender war. We won, and we got to act like we won. We got to act like victors now. We got to set the tone and the pace for discussion. And that's the reason why what Bernard is doing right there, the brother looked like he's about to go on, News Tonight or something like that. He's there. He's got his table there, his desk. He's got his papers, everything prepared. That's what we got to. I'm not saying everybody got to do exactly what Bernard do in terms of look. My point is we can't just keep shooting from the hip. When you're on the run, you're a guerrilla warrior or whatever, you got to do what you got to do. You got to punch and get out and get the hell out of it. But when you're in the driver's seat, it's a different game. That's a whole different game now. And this is the reason why what Kevin is doing, what Bernard's doing, what I'm going to be doing, inshallah, pretty soon, you got to have your ducks in a row and in order, because you're going to have, yes, Edward, you're right. You're going to have bad actors, whether they're content creators or whether they're just commenters.
Whether they're male or female.
Yes. You're going to have bad actors trying to derail, deny what we're doing, and we have to look past them to the people on the fence to the people on the sidelines watching, keep bringing that evidence. This is the reason why Kevin is so effective. Bernard is so effective. To a certain extent, I've been watching you over time. I always tune into you, Edward, and I've seen the evolution in you. That ever so slowly, you're moving in that same direction too. That's what we have to do, is bring the evidence. Somebody say, well, where's your source for that? Bang, bang, bang. It's got to be what Steve Bannon calls muzzle velocity. Them sources, we just got to like pepper the opposition with sources. Just pepper them. Like we loading them up with a machine gun. Brrr.
Yeah, and I believe what Judge was saying, but with Judge, and like I said before, at the very least, at least have. It's not even about me judging him, because he's not a content creator like that, from what I understand. So I get it, and I'm glad he brought it up, because that's some stuff now I can go look up, and then I can make a video on it because he brought it up. Because my mind wasn't even focused on it's like that insidious. Now, because a lot of our women aren't thinking that far ahead to be thinking, oh, we have the rights of birth. They just, for the most part, that's some white feminist stuff where they really be looking at that level of kind of control. And the thing about it is, that's the biggest thing why it's important, what Judge said, especially once the evidence is gathered of Googling, like he said, and presenting that right there for people, is this. Everything y'all are saying, I'm talking about the females, and a lot of the dudes, it's predicated on we're in this together. You got a lot of dudes that are saying, no, we're not. That's just some stuff you say just to get me to do what you say. And then you flip the script as soon as you get what you want. And this is where you got the pump and dump. That's why SBM, all of that is really from, I'm doing what's in my best interest. Damn the community. Then you got the folks that are pro-community saying we need the community to be great. I'm more in the middle. But my thing is, when you have things like this out here, like what Judge said, and by the way, that's not even a black thing. That's an American thing what Judge was talking about. So that just goes to show you how women are in it for themselves, so much so that they don't even know, most of them don't even know how to operate outside of that. It's got to be, they are in direct competition with men on that. And it's like, ultimately, if men recognize that a woman is in competition with him, you are going to lose pretty much every time, because women depend on a man trusting her, giving her latitude, whether it's, take the physical off of it. I'm just talking about in almost any area of activity, even mentally. When a man goes at a woman straight up on a lot of averages, a woman is going to lose that battle. And this is why, for instance, you brought up Sheryl Sandberg. This is why a while ago with Sheryl Sandberg in the Me Too movement. She is one of the few, she's an old, like, second wave feminist. She understood this network has to work the way it needs to work. It can't be, okay, it's women versus men in the workplace, because men are going to terraform the workplace to benefit them, because men are where the true value of it is. It doesn't exist without the men. It can exist without the women. She understands that. That's why part of why she was able to get to the position she got. Most of these other women don't understand that. But see, the problem is, by the time women like Sheryl Sandberg try to say that, these other young women don't want to hear nothing. I'm talking about white women now. They don't want to hear nothing because they don't believe that they can really be checked like that, because they haven't seen it. Because it's kind of like older black folks talking to us about racism before civil rights, and somebody like me growing up in a post. You see what I'm saying? You ain't really seen it like that. So they don't really, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I'll let you rock.
Right. Shout out to Al Boogie in the building. Says Bernard got that porno.
That is funny. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's definitely funny. Shout out, appreciate
back
you.
With the VHS tapes.
Yeah, appreciate you dropping. I can't even find
and
my
the
drop.
music.
Appreciate you dropping the $2.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
But yeah, to his point though, I mean, there's the I can see the casting couch right there. You
need to interview Marcus Brown.
Got the porno light, and they go to the casting couch right there.
Because Marcus Brown has an interesting story how he had to go to the doctor like 10 different times over like a couple of years because he wanted to get a vasectomy at a very young age. He had a whole 30-minute documentary about it. But that'd be a good interview. Shout out to Marcus, one of the old school dudes.
Yeah, that's interesting. To the point that y'all making, I mean, and Judge, Judge is normally on point, normally on point. And when he came up and he said that, the question I asked him is, is it like that across the board? Because I can see in an obscure in one state, there's probably some law on the books that that's just been sitting there. That's de facto, not even being used, not even being, So
yeah,
there
North
are
Carolina got
situations.
some good laws when it comes to that stuff. North Carolina is a very fair state. North Carolina allows you to sue. Let's say your wife cheats on you, Bernard. North Carolina will allow you to sue that nigga. That's what
People
happened.
actually,
That's what happened to what's her name? God, what is her name? Fantasia. Fantasia cheated.
Sues them for what?
It's you breached the sanctity of their marriage. Like Fantasia got sued successfully for basically cheating on a married cheating with a married man, and the woman was able to sue her for breaking the sanctity of the marriage. North Carolina, and that is a law that is activated and it does work. That's in this state. I don't know how many other state has it, but North Carolina has a lot of laws like that to tax the person that did, or it's
okay.
good.
So Fantasia cheated with a man who was married. They
And then the
sued.
woman sued
The
her.
woman sued and got how much money? I'm trying
I
to
forget how
Google it.
much, but she successfully won it. And it was but it wasn't nothing that broke her bank or anything like that. But yeah, Fantasia changed after that.
Yeah, I doubt it.
No, she's married now. She's married now with a guy that makes
Oh
less
yeah,
money.
I forgot about that.
She went on. That's what started that journey. I ain't saying she flipped the script immediately, but what I'm saying is there are some obscure laws during the state, and to me, that's a very fair law, in my opinion. I think
You think so?
Yeah, if you know, because remember, you got to show that that person knew that person was married. If you can show that they knew that person was married, that would create a disincentivize a lot of this a lot of folks just wanting to go after married people. I mean, if you can show you knew they were married, now if you're just throwing it out there and you can get money out of people and you didn't know so people can lie, then that could be fraud. But no, you have to show they knew that person was married.
Obsidian. But you normally you more than anybody go hard on cheaters. You draw a harder line on that than anybody in the sphere. Almost anybody. Period. I mean, you draw a real hard line on that.
And there's a reason for it.
But hold on, before you get into the reason why, what is your thought? What are your thoughts on it being some law like that where you could sue somebody if they have sex with your spouse and they knew y'all was married? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, let me preface this. Shout out to our barristers out there. Dennis Sperling, Esquire, the lead attorney, etc. I am not a member of the bar. I am not a lawyer. So I'm just saying this purely as a layman. I just need to put that on the record. Want to protect Bernard's business. Now, with that being said, it is my understanding, and I say this as a confirmed bachelor, I've never been married, but it is my understanding that adultery is an actionable offense to end a marriage. That's my understanding of it. And that in other words, that's cause to get a divorce is if your spouse goes outside of your covenant in marriage and has sexual relations with another person. Okay? Unbeknownst to you. Now, this law that you're asking me about seems to be an extension of that. In other words, one of the spouses cheats on the other spouse, has sex with someone else. The cheated on spouse finds out and brings suit against, obviously, they're divorcing the spouse, but then they bring suit against the person who cheated with the cheating, who had sex.
Yeah, because the cheating spouse, this doesn't like annul any penalties that the cheating spouse would get from the spouse that got cheated on. This doesn't
Right.
do this. It gives, like what you said, an extension of them going after the party.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do I think about that? I have no problem with it. And that brings me to the point of Bernard's making the point that I'm arguably he didn't just go so far as to say the black man's free. He said pretty much anywhere that he's aware of, listening to a black man take such a hard line on cheating, and there's a reason for it.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're right. I said I didn't just look at it as the black manosphere, but other people that draw a hard line on it is quite often women, but they really do it in such a self-serving type of way. If a woman was cheated on and they just they use that as their platform to beat up on men, but I really don't think that they got that as much of a moral outrage about cheating as what they seem to. That's why I say with you, it comes off as more genuine and is equal opportunity, whoever does it across the board. So that's why I say that you draw a harder line on it than anybody else, because everybody else is just making a flimsy, self-serving, emotional argument where their opinions change given the situation, given this person. Oh, I can see that, or I can understand that. I'm going to be silent on this one, but I'm going to bring out the pitchfork for this person because I don't like him or because he's a man. Yeah. But I remember with the Antoine Fuqua, you drew an extremely hard line in the sand, and you were just as consistent on him, somebody you got no problem with, and as you were on Derek Jackson, somebody you did have a problem with before the situation came up. And with women, when they do it, obviously you go off on them. You go hard on the men and the women, where a lot of people, depending on who it is, they give a pass. You're one of the few that don't do that. So,
I'm glad you brought that up, Bernard, because I don't know if you caught it last night, because I know you've been busy working hard putting together your nice studio that I will be informing my congressman on as soon as I get off the air today. And last night's live, I talked about this walking, talking dumpster fire, hot mess known as Miss Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm-hmm.
You might have heard that she has now come forward and suggested that the reason why she's acting the fool on her husband, Mr. Will Smith, is because Pornhub. It's the Pornhub defense. She's addicted to porn now. That's the reason why she's doing what she's doing. So you had the Twinkie defense, the devil made me do it defense, and the Pornhub defense now. Now, my thinking was this. When Tiger Woods said he was addicted to sex, what happened? Did black women do an outpouring of support for that? No. When Eric Benet, who was married,
they cheered that white
woman
hitting him with that club.
Right. And he was married to Halle Berry, and he cheated on her. He said he was addicted to sex. Did black women buy that? No. But black women, and when I say black women, let me be clear. I'm talking about black women content creators. They got the mic just like we do. You don't hear a peep out of them. Just goes to your point, Bernard. You don't hear a peep out of them with regard to Jada Pinkett Smith. This has been going on for at least a year that she's been doing this. If we tack it all the way back to the August Alsina entanglement nonsense. I've been just quietly laying in the car. I want to see.
You right about that. I didn't even consider that.
How many sisters out? And we don't need to name the names. We can do the roll call. We know who we're talking about here. We don't need to name names, get Bernard in trouble. We know who we're talking about here. These ladies who got the mic, they don't say a peep about what Jada Pinkett Smith has been doing to Will Smith. Will Smith has no record of cheating on his wife, of publicly embarrassing her. None. He is the perfect picture of a black man doing the right thing. Family man doing the right thing. It was disclosed. It was long rumored, but finally the truth came out. Him and his wife admitted it on her show on Facebook, Red Table Talk. Yes, they have an open marriage. Right? This is during the whole entanglement thing, y'all. We all saw it. Will Smith confirmed, yes, they have it. Okay, fine. I can go along with that. It's the 21st century. These things happen. Fine. Both parties are aware of what's going on. Both parties have agreed. Fine. But this goes beyond that. What Jada Pinkett Smith is doing here, see that August Alsina piece, that goes beyond an agreement to have an open marriage. That goes outside of the bounds of that. Because an open marriage don't give you a right to just disrespect and embarrass your spouse, man.
Yeah, and even if you I get what you're going with the August Alsina thing, because it's how it's putting him on the table talking all of that. But yeah, no, most people that have open marriages don't. That's a private thing. That is not well, you get to be I mean, even amongst famous people, if you look at how it gets down, you don't see stuff like what Jada is doing. And make no mistake, if this would have been a black man doing this, I would say a white man doing this to a white woman, there would be social pushback on that, even from a lot of men. Because they would be like, why are you embarrassing her like that? Why are you da 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 like that? You know what's interesting? Well, it was one thing that the females had covered where it was a black woman that's married to a white dude. And then the white dude was saying it was something that they were talking about because the white it's like a actress, and the white dude was saying some crazy stuff, and he was embarrassing her, not like Jada Pinkett over a long period of time, but it was like a stint where you know who I'm talking about if I brought the combination up. It's one of these chicks that she be playing black, but always white. Anyway, my point is, we all know where that's going. Even with the dudes, even if you take the women off the table and just talk about dudes are gonna feel some type of way about seeing a black woman get embarrassed like that. And but it's like acceptable, and this is how you know how people are mentally programmed. Even with me, like, because the main way that I'm covering is I'm like, yo, Will stays. So, I mean, what is he? If he's going to stay, then that's kind of on him. But you don't really see people jumping on Jada like you would think. But the few women that are talking about it, they're trying to make it seem like Jada's being prosecuted.
Yeah,
like,
and that's my point. And that's not to cut you off, Ed, but to try to stay focused on Bernard's point that he made about me. I rain down on the just and the unjust alike. I have when Jada, I did my show last night on this. Jada stepped forward with this Pornhub defense. That's bunk. We didn't buy it with Tiger, rightly so. We didn't buy it with Eric Benet, rightly so. And we shouldn't buy it with Jada, rightly so. That's a bunch of crap. Oh, you know what I mean? People watch Pornhub. We're gonna say all of them now have a right to act a fool. Stop it. No, this ain't got nothing to do with that. And I feel some kind of way about the black women content creators who couldn't take a stand the way I did with Antoine Fuqua. That said something about them.
They always like they can't even take a stand when Chad Wheeler was whooping on that chick. Like they covered it. They always do that.
Good point. And here's my point going to Bernard to land the plane, as he likes to put it. The reason why I do this, and I took a page out of Kevin Samuels' book on this. The reason why I take such a hard tack on black male cheating, especially, is because black women have gotten a lot of mileage out of the idea that black men writ large are cheaters. Now, we know that's not true. How do we know that's not true? Go hat tip to you, Edward. The Institute of Family Studies has done an exhaustive study on this. Who cheats more? And we find in that study that while it is true that black folks read black men and black women cheat more than white men, white women, Hispanic men, Asian women, it's also true, and black men have to accept this, that black men cheat more than anybody else. Nearly 30% of black men have admitted to cheating on their spouse. Now, 28% to be the precise number. Now. That still leaves us with 72% of black men who don't cheat. So we can say with confidence to black women, the overwhelming majority, yes, there are more black men that cheat than white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. Yes, that's true. It's also true, however, that the vast majority of black men don't cheat. And the reason why I take such a hard line for this, Bernard, as the dating coach for the non-select guy, for far too long we've been silent. We have allowed the Derek Jacksons, the Antoine Fuquas, etc. et al. To represent all of us. Because that's what black women will do. Black women will be attracted to the, when we know this is true already. The 80-20 rule has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt by science. And Iyanla Vanzant, I might add, shout out to her on the Oprah Winfrey Network when she was on there. So that's no longer a matter of debate. Black women are attracted to a small group of black men who are inherently problematic. I call them the select F boys. Get screwed over by them, rode hard, put out wet. Then they want to blame all black men for it. F that. It's not the majority of black men. It's the black men that you're sexually attracted to with your dysfunctional ass. Those are the people that you're dealing with. Don't put that shit on brothers like me. I reject utterly that notion. Now you see the reason why I brought in Alan Roger Curry to the black manosphere, because we needed to get that crap off the table. Black women have gotten a lot of mileage over decades over the idea that black men writ large lie to them, cheat on them. That's the reason why I brought him in the black manosphere with Mode 1. I wanted to make Mode 1 the default setting of game and pickup in the black manosphere. Every man can do Mode 1. Every man can't be mystery. Mystery method is too complex. It's too complex for most men to learn. But every man can be upfront and straightforward. Every man can be Mode 1. And I looked at it. Black women in and around the black manosphere, you don't even hear them talking about black men cheating and lying and all that anymore. You don't even hear them talk about it. There's a reason for it. I wanted to get that off the table. So that's the reason why I take such a hard line on cheating. In the 21st century, no man should have to lie to get some ass. None. And any man that does, Alan Roger Curry said it best, they're a verbal coward.
All right, there it is. there it is. Shout out to ARC. Definitely shout out to you, Obsidian. Yeah, you definitely. I did catch. I mean, I was busy working and stuff, but I had you playing in the background, so I did catch a lot of your stream last night. But shout out to everybody that's in the building. Y'all can definitely hit that like button. The link is in the chat if anybody else want to come up and get a piece of this topic or any other topics that was covered throughout the show today. Go ahead, Ed.
And to piggyback off what Obsidian said, because you got some peanut gallery in the chat. People, black men, like when you look at quote unquote the gynocracy or a lot of this bullshit that black men do, black men have this belief that shutting the fuck up is a sign of strength. They really black men really believe that.
Do you think they really believe that, or are they just caping for women?
No, they do. No, black men, most black men do believe that if you're somebody, now it's one thing to kind of talk, and there's no actions behind it, but most black men do believe that if you are, this is why it always gets reframed as complaining, not explaining the dynamics, not saying, okay, it's going to be clarity. Like, for instance, somebody will say, well, why did Obsidian say all the stuff he just said? What is the point to that other than just quote unquote complain? This is what the dumbasses was saying. First of all, black women use the mainstream microphones to basically really paint black men in such a way that actually is a direct threat to our well-being. Whether it's socially, whether it's economically, whether it's physically, it's like making us white sharks. Great white sharks, and you don't have any mercy for a great white shark. You don't feel sorry for a great white shark. Science has also proven this, as far as like when cops shoot black men, their psychological, a lot of pictures that you're shown, black people not feeling pain, whether that's men or women. That stuff matters. That propaganda. David Carroll always phrase is propaganda. And he always says you have a responsibility and obligation to push back against propaganda. It's not true. Now, where it is true, he'll say it. Where it's not true, he won't. Like, for instance, a lot of the women that these men complain about were directly raised by other women, but they don't want to talk about that. Going directly what Obsidian was saying, though, as far as the guys that they deal with, there was a meme that said, it was a female that put that out. It was interesting, saying that black women think that all black men cheat because the only men that they're dating are the dudes that like the dudes that cheat. They're dating the dudes in that top 20%.
That's correct.
So by definition, those dudes, you know,
They're more likely to cheat, Ed.
the market favors them. That's
Yeah.
what that is.
They're
And
more
so
likely to cheat. That's correct.
yeah, so maybe you need to look for folks outside of that. It has nothing
Yes.
to do with select non, because when we always say select non-select, people misinterpret that from Wills is like, for instance, if you're a dude that's a family, let's take Tupac versus Will Smith. Perfect example. You cannot say that Will Smith would not be the prototypical select guy. Height, money, status.
We can't say that, but we can say that, Ed. We're not looking at this from the perspective of the way, since that is the topic de jour.
Well, let me add this one part.
Yeah, I'll come after you. Go ahead.
But when you compare, if you compare seriously compare Will Smith to Tupac, you know, even like, you know, because if you really compare them, the difference in those guys, and it wasn't just Jada, because what was the chick from Salt and Pepper said the same thing with was it Stretch or Tretch?
Yeah, Tretch,
and then she said she should have picked Will, but that's who she went with. So we can take this outside of Jada too. What you have is two different archetypes of black men. Now, what level these guys are at depends, but they're different archetypes. The archetypes are going to depend on the values you have, which is going to reflect the priorities. This is why when other people of other cultures, they look at stuff slightly different because they come from a different value system that black people at one point had. So a lot of times we try to say, some people that don't understand select and non-select will say, oh, well, Jada's doing this because Will's not select. Well, we know how other women react to Will, so we know that's not true. Or and you look at that. So it's really the woman is the issue in that situation. And Will Smith is like a blindingly obvious, way to compare that. So that's, I think, something that's not being said. So when we say, why do we bring this up? This stuff needs to be brought up because you have women that are operating in perpetual deception because they know they can find a dude that's going to believe they BS. And our job is clarity. That's the biggest issue between the black manosphere and a lot of the other groups is they don't want this stuff to be clear because they don't like what it looks like when all the smoke is blown away. That's the issue. That's why they have an issue with us.
I agree with you. You're 100% correct, Edward. Dennis Prager, somebody that I take a lot of inspiration from. You can check his channel out right here on YouTube, Prager University, Prager U it's called. He has a very famous quote that I took to heart. Clarity is better than agreement. It's better to be clear on what you disagree about than to come to agreement about something. And that goes right to your point. And that's why I do what I do. I want to make it clear, abundantly clear where I'm coming from. I want to make it clear where these ladies are coming from. So let's bring it back to Tupac and Will. The problem, Edward, is that Will does not imbibe that gangster swag that Jada and you mentioned Pepper, they like that. That's a crucial element, as O'Shea Duke Jackson puts it, that nigga juice. See, Will didn't have the nigga juice component.
Yeah.
Had he had the nigga juice component, it'd be a different story. Now, my thinking is this. I'm not jumping on Jada or Pepper or any other sister that wants that. They got a right to want what they want. I'm not judging either. Is us. The problem I have with them is that in the case of Jada, she's going to mess around a brother like Will instead of letting him go. And in the case of Pepper, doing what so many black women do. Because I do have respect for Jada in this sense. In this sense. She got on that horse and she riding it till the wheels fall off. But Pepper, she want to switch it up now. After she done gave up her best years to dudes like Tretch. See, I can respect Jada. I mean, she carrying the torch for Tupac. She just going to ride that until
Jada was transparent. Jada was transparent. And Jada has not. She, like you said, she talked about Tupac even in the beginning before they were married.
Exactly. See, I got to fault Will for that.
Yeah.
See, I got to fault him for that because she's been consistent. But see, women like a Ciara, women like a Pepper, I got problems with them. No, you wanted to get with Future. You wanted to get with Lil Bow Wow, whatever. You wanted to get with 50 Cent. You wanted to get with stay with them. Stay. Oh, where's my echo box at? Stay over there. Don't bring your tainted You know what? I can't say it on the air because I don't want to get Bernard in trouble. Take your old bag, keep it over there.
Like, let's not and people always people want to talk about celebrities. Examples are not bad in this sense because they are still relationships. Just because they got money don't mean nothing. So, and it's everything. Everybody can like, we know who these people are. Like, bringing up random people in random situations, y'all don't know. We know what these people are out here doing. So stop it. You know, some people in the chat talk about celebrities, a horrible example. Understand the point, not necessarily the celebrities. But yeah, that switch up thing, and that's that dual mating strategy. And again, the reason why the lies come out is because let's really examine like why Will did what he did. Will really believed he could alpha his way through that. Will really believed that he could change her. And that this is one thing this PJ Tucker has in common, as young as he is with somebody like Will, when Will was older, when he got married, and he'd already been married once before. Dudes got to stop believing that your alphaness is going to change a female. If you're not that archetype, you are not that archetype. We do not live in a world anymore today where the society is going to force these women to act right. It's not like you just need to be in, especially in the black community. So if you are not the right archetype for that female, and you sit there and believe that, well, if I just do everything I'm supposed to do and I'm this person, because most guys don't got the status of Will or the money of Will at any kind of level to be doing. You're not going to change them. They may play a role with you for a while, but eventually that's going to be problematic. They're going to divorce. They're going to find a way to divorce. Shout out to Crimson Cure. They're going to find a way to break that relationship or to do what they ultimately want to do. Women do not change. They adjust. Now, they may try to sell you the idea that they change because they want security. Now, this is why we got a whole bunch of females in their late 30s, early 40s trying to play like now they want to be a teammate. They want to be a teammate now because what they want is for you to accept. It's like a car, want depreciation of its value. Now I want to come at you certified pre-owned when it's really salvage title. They're trying to salvage literally the best of what they can get, and they're looking for suckers. And unfortunately, Will's volunteered to be a sucker because the one thing that I tell women is clarity. This is the one thing about Brittany Renner. Say what you want to about her. She was clear. She wrote a book. So you made choices knowing what you were getting. Don't buy a product. It's like, don't buy a product knowing what you're getting and then you want to take it back talking about this ain't what I ordered. No, it didn't work out the way you thought it was going to. But, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, there was a question on the floor. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, there it is right now. Shout out to Indigenous TV. Appreciate the super chat. Appreciate everybody who supports the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out. He says, Indigenous TV says, oh man, and y'all feel free to super chat questions. Feel free to super chat questions while you're at it. Indigenous TV in the building says, oh man, has Sierra had a negative effect on Russell Wilson's career? I've noticed his play on the field has gotten worse since he's gotten married. I don't buy that. Quarterbacks, they're going to have fluctuations and ups and downs.
Yeah,
and high moments. Cam Newton, one second, he was the MVP, voted by players, the best player in the NFL. Right now, he can't hold a job, and for good reason. I mean, he had the last season he had was terrible. Stuff happens. Like, no, you can't. And his play hasn't been that bad.
Yeah, I know another question they were talking about 98% of folks would marry men. Men would marry Sierra tomorrow. I'm like, what does that have to, like, first of all, what does that even have to do with what's being said? Like, the reality is Sierra, you got to compare Sierra to the level of guys that she's dealing with, just like an Angela Simmons. That's
hold on, wait, not just that. You got to compare Sierra to the level of women that somebody like Russell Wilson would have access to.
Yeah,
then you can criticize and say, you could have did better than
so the
mama.
question.
But I just want to throw it out there I'm through. I'm through with the Russell Wilson and
Well,
Sierra
my question.
thing.
Well,
It,
I'm not even. I am too, but I'm just
yeah,
saying. See, there's a reason why Sierra jumped on Russell Wilson as fast as she did. Sierra was smart enough to understand. I got a kid. I'm 29. You know, she could have wound. She could have easily wound up like Carrie Hilson. See,
yes,
Carrie Hilson looks better than Sierra. And Carrie Hilson didn't learn that, and she's older, but by a couple of years. Carrie Hilson didn't learn that lesson. Carrie Hilson could have jumped. She had Serge Ibaka. She could have knew her role, and Serge Ibaka's younger than her. She didn't recognize that, so now she about to hit that. I'm fine but 40. You being fine but 40 don't mean you gonna get the dude that you necessarily want. You gonna get
right,
one of these dudes that like 50. They may have money in 50, so they want to go younger or something like that. And then you got to look at, and I hate to bring height into it. Carrie Hilson's like 5'9". Carrie Hilson's tall, so she automatically needs somebody that's like 6', which automatically cuts her options. You know, so again, Sierra was smart, and they knew 30 was the time to do that. Now you got folks saying literally that 30 is when women are supposed to start thinking about marriage. Not be
right.
married by, but start thinking about marriage. This is the goofiness that you're starting to see people talk about. And yeah.
Well,
So
yeah. Well, I mean, well, I throw it to old man. The question was to old man, so I definitely want to get his
sorry.
thoughts on that. Oh no, no, no. I'm talking to myself because I wanted to pass it to him, but I just want to give my little extra 2 cents on the Sierra and Russell Wilson thing. At this point, he got 2 actual biological kids with her right now. At this point, right? Is it 1 or 2? I think he got 2 biological children with her at this
And I
point.
don't mean to double
At
jump
that,
in here,
at
but
that,
I'm about to hop off. But this is, I mean, it's me and Georgia Boy going at it. This is that bullshit I'm talking about.
yeah,
Where's
no,
your proof that women don't change? Where is your proof? I mean, nigga, believe what you want to believe.
GA Boy and AC, they be trolling and they come up here and they get rhetorically dismembered every time they
Yeah,
step into
I
the
mean, I don't
arena.
even.
So I don't even they trolling hard on this topic. Whenever look, I mean,
And you really
you
don't
can
want to be associated.
you
You like.
can you can wrestle with them in the chat if you want to, but at where I'm at with Russell Wilson and Sierra, at this point, I don't even know how long it's been. Going on a decade, I think 8 years, something like that. They've been married.
You gotta remember, you get them benefits once you hit 10 years.
That's coming down the pipeline possibly, but right now, that many years, 2 biological kids. At that point, it's a family. Just leave it alone. I don't even care. But if we had a time machine going back to when it started, then yeah, all the male criticism was correct. Russell Wilson, you're a single man with no kids, one of the most successful, famous men on earth. You should have did better than a baby, better than a baby mama.
Here you go, Bernard. I've seen women change. I mean, come on, man. Like like this, the fact that they like no woman ever change. Like y'all be the very that's that Will Smith mentality. Jada go change tomorrow, yo. I just gotta keep pushing the kid. Like think about how his kids came out. But you still believe.
Of course, a woman can change, but I'm not about to be the guinea pig in the experiment of whether or not she can change. That's just where I'm at with it. But we're gonna go to the question.
Yeah, my bad.
We're gonna go. Oh no, you good. Go ahead, old man. We got Pablo in the building too. Shout out to Pablo. And but going to old man right now on this one. Oh, did I mute? Oh, I'm sorry. I got Obsidian muted. I'm sorry. It was a little background.
Okay. Yeah, that was a really good question that the brother asked, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I haven't been following it. To tell you the truth, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I haven't been following the NFL since the whole Colin Kaepernick thing went down. It just turned me off so bad. I didn't even want to be bothered. So
it's a documentary on Netflix about as you called him, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Colin, but maybe that was on purpose. Colin Kaepernick.
Oh no, I wasn't meant to diss him. I mean, just the way I like Colin Powell. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Okay, but yeah, no, it's a documentary on Netflix recapping that whole thing. Jason Whitlock did some covered it, and they tore it to shreds. It was it's from based off what they said, it was pretty bad. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just that whole thing just turned me off so bad to the NFL. I just didn't want to be bothered. So I might take in a little bit of college ball. I may watch a little bit of that. But beyond that, I just don't want to be bothered. So I haven't been keeping up with the scores and the all the drama of the NFL. So I have no idea what Russell Wilson's performance is on the field. But But I will say this, the brother does make a damn good point, and I think this is something we all can take something from. If you're going to be getting with, and I think you would agree with this, Bernard, if you're considering a woman for the long haul, be that marriage, be that a long-term relationship, y'all just not bumping bellies and y'all just keep it moving. You got to consider whether she's an asset or a liability to you. I don't think enough of us brothers really give that enough thought. You got to think whether she's an asset long-term to your program or a liability to your program long-term. You got to project out 5-10 years from now or longer if she's going to be good for you or bad for you. Now, I bring that back to the Russell Wilson piece. I have no idea. I would imagine we could go back and look at his stats since he got with Sierra, and would have been now better part of 5 years at this point, right? We can go back and look at his stats. Matter of fact, you know what? That might be a good idea, Bernard. We might be able to get together and do a show where we look at guys and we assess whether the women that they got, obviously these will be notable, famous individuals, obviously.
Yeah.
We will look at them. We'll get famous, notable black men, and we will look at the women that they selected, because in mating, men have the power in long-term mates. Women have the power in short-term mates. So we can assess whether or not these men made a wise investment in the women that they chose. Were those women an asset or liability? And we can start with Russell Wilson. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I haven't looked at his stats over the past 5 years since he got with Sierra. So he may very well have done well on the football field as a result of Sierra coming to his life. I don't know that. I'm just saying I think it's a damn good question.
Yeah, I mean that's something to look into. Let's take men before they got married and just look at the trajectory of their careers after they got married. That'd be something fun to look at. But with sports, it's kind of tough because I know that quarterback position in the NFL, you just through time and taking the beating and getting ran over, tackled by 350-pound guys that can run a 4.4. Like your stats are going to decline as you get older. So I don't know if it'll be hard to measure, rather not being married to the woman. But in some cases, yeah, we can look at that and see if a woman has been I'll make it almost like a game. Has she been a liability or a benefit? So yeah, that'd be fun. But Low End Theory in the building says we didn't know Sierra was the president, owner, or GM of the Seattle Seahawks and took away his best teammates. Yeah, that's why that makes my point. There's so many moving parts in sports.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. On especially such a, because you can't even say that level of complexity is there even in basketball. We can make an argument for baseball. I think it's somewhere between football and basketball, the complexity. But modern day football, it's so complex. Like you're right. It's so complex. There's so many moving parts that it is hard to suss that out. I agree. But how about
with baseball? Hold on. If we can see his batting average went down, because that's just you standing on your own mat. Yeah. Right. So yeah, if we can see a batting average go down, then we can say,
that broad, dump that broad.
Yeah, she got him unfocused out there.
Right.
He ain't dialed in. Yeah.
Now, what do we say about Michael B. Jordan? Has his career gone further up since he got with Lori Harvey? Has it remained flat or has it gone down?
I don't know. He was on a hellified hot streak, and I haven't seen no work since then. So we'll see. You're onto something. I haven't seen what has he done since then.
A case to whoop that trick.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I haven't seen anything from Michael B. Jordan since then. Ever since last year, like he had Black Panther was a big hit, Creed was a big hit, and Creed 2. He had what's that movie with Jamie Foxx where I believe he played the lawyer. Like he had a nice little run going, but yeah, he's that's interesting. That's interesting.
I wonder what Pablo had to say about that.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Pablo Fresco Bar in the building. Welcome welcome to the show. Go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
What's going on, guys? And you know what? Michael B. Jordan is probably, I would say he's been stagnant
Yeah.
since
Are you
it's
suggesting
been
that
rumored
Lori
that
Harvey might have something to do with that, Pablo?
I don't know. It could be. It absolutely could be. And then again, it could just be, Hollywood is fickle. It's about who's hot now and who's next. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see if it plays out. If they're still together and this continues, then that could be a thing. If they're not and he gets back on, then you have the answer.
Now, in the case, now Bernard made the case, Pablo. Okay, Russell Wilson. We have to keep in mind he's in the modern day 21st century NFL. Very complex operation, a lot of moving parts, it's very hard to suss out his performance. That's okay. Now we can look at Michael B. Jordan. Now we can just look at the box office receipts and make a judgment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with actors, the gigs they get offered determine a lot of, whether or not they're going to be in the big summer blockbuster, whether or not they're getting offered those movies. So the woman that you're with, like I think with actors we can judge this,
now
better, because the woman that you're with might make, let's just say if you with some Instagram floozy, that may make a lot of executives say, we don't want him representing our film,
right,
because he's living a certain lifestyle, versus if you had a respectable woman on your arm. So with actors, we can measure it much better than what we can athletes. So that's
now. Here's a twist. There is rumor that he is being considered for the James Bond movie.
Okay.
So that might be a part of the reason it's been real quiet. But there's several other black male actors that are being considered as well. Idris Elba. There's that guy that was on that Netflix series that was rumored to be in it as well. But I came up to talk about what Edward's point.
Yeah.
About the select, non-select, and the whole idea of
nigga juice.
Yes. Yes. Archetypes. This is very close to my heart because it is one of the major reasons that I ended up becoming a passport bro, is that my particular archetype, a Will Smith, a Kobe Bryant, guys like us. Although, okay, one day I was showing some photos and some video of some young ladies I used to date, and I believe I might have been on Obsidian's channel. And the guys in the chat said, "Hey, Pablo, you're not non-select based on the attractiveness of this girl that I could."
Yeah, no, I think that was over here. You showed me.
Right.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, those opportunities for me in the black community were few and far between.
Okay. Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I was being shown by life that my batting average in another culture was much higher than it was in my own. And so I came to realize, well, wait a minute. These people over here are looking for something different than these people over here. Mm-hmm. Not to say that they don't both want the same things, but the degree to which they hold certain qualities in esteem is vastly different, right? So the nigga juice that O'Shea speaks of, I was low in nigga juice. I'm low. I ain't gonna lie. I'm low in nigga juice.
Yeah. Not very strong. Not very high there.
Yeah. But now, if you want to go, play around the golf, or if you want to, know about the nicest seafood restaurants and a jazz spot or a cigar bar, well, now I'm high. If you wanna go to the ball of the mayor's ball and do that, or go to, hang out with some of the, 100 Black Men of Atlanta and some of their events. I know people over there. I can do that. But now the nigga juice, nah, not so much. And so I had to come to the realization, I had to play in my lane. Sometimes you just got to get in where you fit in.
Right.
But see what happened with Will is he wanted to. I tried to do what Will tried to do. I tried to get a sister girl for a sister girl's sake.
Okay. So your position was, all right. Well, let me walk it back. So you said you got a sister for sister girl, so you tried to go that route. Why did you feel compelled to even consider getting the sister girl for sister's sake? Why did you even do that? Where did that come from? Why did you need to be compelled to do that in the first place?
Well, you see, the community places a great deal of pressure on you to not, to not leave. A great deal of pressure.
Now, when people hear that, let me try to be a devil's advocate here. When people hear that, Pablo, they're going to say, what pressure? What black woman is putting a gun to your head? Ain't nobody checking for you and your imaginary friends. No way. Let me see what else. Well, who is actually forcing you to stay in the community? This is what they're going to say, Pablo. So when you say pressure, what do you mean by pressure?
Well, there's the stares, the angry looks. There's the comments. There's the you had to go and get a poor girl and this and that, and you got a Becky and
the dirty feet broad argument.
Right, the dirty foot broad, and how does my Ling's rice taste? If you SKC,
Right. They actually said that. Now that's downright racist.
Yeah.
Right. The rice cake piece, that's a downright racist statement. The dirty foot broad thing, that's borderline.
Yeah, that can go either way. Yeah.
Yeah, but rice cake, yeah, that's straight up racism right there.
Yeah. So my point is, they make it very, very difficult for you to, as Kevin said, why would you throw away a Robert F. Smith?
That was a powerful question. Now I knew, and that was a 4-hour tour de force that he did, because I went and ripped it. I got it in my personal library. I said, I gotta save this one. This is going to be one for the history books. So I knew when he was doing it, I said, if I know Pablo and the brothers, they're going to be going ham on what Kevin's doing right now.
Oh
they're
man,
going to be dancing in the street behind
us.
We
were popping bottles. Yeah. We were popping bottles on WhatsApp. Down in Medellin at Sweet George's Cafe, down in Sosua, they were living it up. They were living it up. Because we know Kevin has been holding back the floodgates of sisters from other mothers getting on his channel.
Oh yeah, almost from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, now that he put it out there, because we don't put out these sort of things behind the scenes stuff. But now that he's going on record with it, I can speak freely. I know for a fact that there have been women of other mothers circling like vultures for more than a year. I know that's true. On his own private group, The Mix, there was a vigorous debate as to whether we should open it up to the lovely ladies of other mothers. Now, of course, the sisters, they weren't having it. And my position was, if we're trying to develop a functioning 21st century black society, then we owe it to ourselves to try to do it with the sisters. Now, here's the trick. The sisters got to get on board. See, I honestly believe, this is what I think, Pablo, not to take you too far away from your point, you can go back to it.
No, go ahead.
This is what I think. I think that a lot of sisters never thought that the day would come when brothers of sizable number, we're not talking about a guy here, a guy there, but brothers of sizable numbers will get their act together. I think a lot of sisters honestly believe that. They thought that it will always be Pookie land. That the day would never come when brothers would get their act together, be on point, and then they would have to contend with that. I don't think they honestly believe that day will ever happen.
Right. and full scale open competition. Let the market decide dating and mating. That's like you called it before, sexual marketplace socialism.
That's right.
All of that is on the way out, and those that can compete will compete. Now, like I was saying to Edward's point, yes, I noticed that. You know what? I'm gonna have to open up my options here, right? But what Will did was he said, I'm gonna stick with a sister girl no matter what, even if I know I'm not her archetype. I had that girl that I used to like. Her name was Risha. I never forget it.
Okay.
And I told one of my partners, I said, hey, you know this girl Risha? He said, yeah, man, but she ain't gonna like you. I was like,
Damn.
no, for real. No, this is my boy. He could tell me, he could shoot it to me straight. He said, yeah, but she ain't not gonna like you. I was like, what do you mean, man? She ain't gonna like me. He was like, she like them thugs. That's what he said.
In other words, you didn't have the nigga juice.
I didn't have enough nigga juice. At the time, I was naive, very much like Will Smith. I'm thinking because she's pretty and she's not rocking green weave and doing all that she didn't require the nigga juice. But I was wrong. I rolled up, I shot my shot. I actually kind of got her number, but after that, it was nothing. It was crickets.
Yeah, it kind of stalled out.
Yeah, it stalled out, nothing. And and he said, when I came back to my boy, he said, so what happened? I said, man, I had my head hung low. He said, I told you.
So did you actually see her with these thug type dudes?
Yeah, she had baby by one.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So I had to realize, if you're a Will Smith type of dude, you got to realize, you know what? The girls that's looking for a certain type of nigga juice, man, you just got to walk away from that because hey, some things are not for you. It's not for you. You don't meet their particular qualifications, man, and you're gonna hurt yourself trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Now there's some other sisters that I did,
wow,
link up with that was real nice and everything. It just didn't work forever. But I had a better shot with them than with her.
Right. So you're saying that now, so we're clear on this. You're from Virginia. I presume that this is where it took place. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're from Virginia. Stone's throw away from the great HBCUs, Hampton and Norfolk State. Middle class background and bearing. I am presuming this is, as Alan Roger Curry would put it, the proverbial good girl from middle class black suburbia. Do I have that right?
She was a bit below that. I would say lower middle class in her
lower middle class. Okay, fair enough.
She lived on the edge of the hood. Yeah.
Okay, she's living on the penumbra of the Park 8 preserve.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, she's got that thing for that jungle love.
Yeah, she got to have it, man. She got to have that nigga juice.
She got to have alley oop up in her.
Yeah.
Alley oop. Oh man. But no, good stuff though, Pablo. One thing about the Will and Jada thing, I didn't necessarily look at it the way that you looked at it. Honestly, I didn't know how to look at it when I look at just them initially being together. Like, I understand you're putting a SYSBM passport bro spin on it in the sense that you said that he must have felt obligated to have to deal with a sister. But I'm like, somebody like Will Smith, he got sisters at every realm of the spectrum at his disposal. But so it's like he did. It is a question. Why would he end up with one who kind of, even though she was cute, she was fine. We know what Jada Pinkett looked like in the early '90s, but
But at the time, he was still in hip hop. Remember, he had not yet transitioned to TV when he first met her. He was still heavily involved in hip hop.
Yeah.
So he needed that. He needed that authenticity to you know. But as he gradually,
Oh, wait, hold on, time out. I think you're on to something. You're saying that um he had to, because he was the lame square rapper that didn't cuss.
right?
He couldn't. He had to get with a sister who was a sister, basically, to try
Yes,
to help his image, so to speak.
keep the hip hop fires burning. Yeah,
That's an interesting theory. I never thought of it like that, but it is interesting when you look at their whole Marvel origin story. I think Obsidian alluded. Hold on, J Speed, you got to mute up till I'm ready to call on you, and turn down the gain on your mic. Turn down that gain. I heard all that hissing as soon as you came in, trying to drown everybody out. Oh, there, say now he gone. But I think Obsidian alluded to. Didn't she say something like early on, like she told him she wasn't I don't know, what did she say? The Marion type or wife kind, or no, she ain't no good girl. It was something that she said, Obsidian. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or no?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, damn it. Somebody said something. I don't know why I thought it was you. Somebody said,
yeah, I heard the same quote. Yeah,
early on, she basically told him, like, I ain't about this life that you about, or something like that. I don't know.
the white picket fence, and she said she went about that life.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing horribly, but yeah, she did in one way or another did let him know that, and he proceeded forward anyway. But yeah. All right, we're gonna give J Speed another shot at it. Go ahead, see if you got something. See if you got your stuff together. Go ahead.
Is that better?
I mean, you still sound like you got the microphone on your Adam's apple, but we can hear you.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. But you don't hear the hissing noise, right?
No hissing noise. It just at first it sounded like had the microphone in your esophagus, but you're good
okay.
now.
Well,
You're good. You're good.
It's been a rough morning this morning. Oh man, I got the book and it's signed just the way you say you would send it to me.
Yeah.
So all you out there who think the old man won't send you your book, he will get to you. Even if it takes a year, he go get it to you and it's gonna be signed. No, he got it to me in pretty fast time. He was going into a reprint. I'm trying to figure out, is this an infomercial to take violin lessons? Because there's a lot of violin got to be played with this damn story Pablo was telling this morning. So, I'm trying to figure this shit out.
Well, I overcame it. So what's the point?
No, yeah, I was just about to say that. I don't mind somebody giving a violin story as long as the plane land and they tell you how they won at the end. Like he did tell you how he solved his problem. So yeah. So you can't just throw the violins at him that hard.
Oh no, man! I mean, I would have quit playing by the time he landed the plane, but it would have been a long music in between the goddamn story. That's what I'm talking about. So, but anyway, I'm glad that you did succeed, Pablo, Pivo, Bryson, whatever you want. You look OJ-ish in this picture right here, and it goes along with your story.
OJ? Well, I gotta be OJ. Jeez.
You look like OJ in this picture.
I like Peebo Bryson, but you can't give me OJ.
I'm not saying you look. You look like you're just getting ready to go into church. Is that some kind of?
Yeah, everybody's calling you Pastor Pablo and all that.
Yeah. You look like you're going into church.
I was.
Oh, okay, but your story
was accurate. Then you were going to. You happened to be going to church that day. Okay.
See, I can pick out a lot of stuff about your people. But anyway, good livelihood story. I'm glad you became successful with it. I can't hold that against you, man, because a man got to find
hold on. We got to stop this show really quick, and I got to drop a bomb for Stefan Clinkscale. He just came through on the Cash App and sent a $100 Cash App. Thank you.
Wow.
I'm so glad I saw that, because I normally get Cash Apps during the stream and forget to acknowledge them, but I wanted to make sure I acknowledge that. I don't forget. I normally don't see them while I'm on the air. The super chats pop up and I can't miss them, but I normally miss the Cash Apps and don't catch them until I'm off the air. But I did catch this one, and I do want to acknowledge Steph is cold. I called him Stefan Cleanscale. I don't even know if he go by that no more, but Steph is cold in the building. He left a comment that said, for only in the black community, thugs are alpha. Shaking my head. Absolutely. Shout out to Shout out to Stephens Code coming through hard and heavy handed on the Cash App end. And shout out to KD earlier, came through pretty heavy handed on the Cash App, man. Y'all sending the CAD. The super chat slow today, but I got some Cash Apps in here. Appreciate everybody who support the stream either way that you support the stream. Appreciate it. Yeah, so shout out to Steph's Code. Go ahead, OG. You got the floor, you got the mic. I had to interrupt.
Oh man, I'm gonna do a review on your book when I'm finished reading, and I guarantee you it looks like it's good reading. I skimmed through it yesterday, and it seemed like it's good reading, but there's one problem I'm gonna have. I graduated from night school, so I can't read in the daytime, so I'm gonna have to get them pages in between the times it's night. So it's about 2 or 3 hours before I go to sleep. You didn't know that, Bernard, if a person graduates from night school, they can't read in the daytime.
I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the problems going to night school. And your studios are getting better.
Thank you.
The studio looks fantastic.
It's looking real good, and your shots, your camera angles and stuff is real good.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
I would like to put that your light source on some wires so you get rid of that pole because it's
that's in the work.
Hang your 4 wires from the top. They what we call light wires, and you get that out of the way, and then you just set. You're ready to go.
Yeah. See, I was going to attach them to the wall, but I didn't want to run into the problem of not having the freedom to move them when I need to move them. But like you said, just get some wire. If I get like some wires or some hooks or something, I could attach it to and then take it down. So if I do need to use the pole, I can. And so I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose. Yeah, I didn't want to lose my mobility. But yeah, I'll be there. Yep.
And you're getting that eyes of Hayes look, so you're gonna have to tell the barber to tighten you up a little bit.
Hold on, what Isaac Hayes? What you mean?
When he called himself Moses, you're getting that eyes of Hayes look at the bottom. You got to tighten that up a little bit. And them waves, you got them teeny bopper waves there going on the top.
No, you can't hate on my waves.
No, your waves is coming in on the top, but you got to get that side right.
No, that's just the headset. The headset messing up the waves, man. The waves, they don't
go
back, rewind back to the beginning of the show. The waves, the waves was popping. The Murray's grease was just reflecting off of the light, and I was blinding people. All right,
but you're looking good. You're looking you're looking very professional now. Nobody can talk about none of your setup and everything, and man, you're looking real good. And you got old man on this morning, and he's posing, and then you got
no, hold on. Obsidian said that was a candid photo that his lady friend, and I'm like, nah, you look like J.C. Penney's catalog. You worked on that pose in the mirror, and you like, all right, I got it, I'm ready. And you went and struck a pose, had your lady friend take a picture, but he alleges that was a candid shot that she just caught him randomly, and we that's his story. He's sticking to it. We'll go with it.
But people, let me ask you something. If you taking trips, you taking another trip sometime soon.
Yeah,
to the DM or the JM or wherever you're going.
Yeah, I'll be traveling international.
Can we travel together? I just want to know, I want to see what you see.
Can we travel together? Sure.
Yes, sir. I want to go where you go ahead and see what, give me a tour of what you see. And I can come back and give a daily report.
The 1%, the 5% I want to roll with the pro black want to roll with a passport, bro. You sure about that?
Well, see, you tied in me pro black. You never asked me what I was. You just insinuated that I was pro black.
But what I need you to do is come on my show. We did a show on Yaqub, the Yaqubian theory. So I need you to come on and explain to the people from firsthand experience your knowledge of Yaqub.
Well, you seeing it right now. I really don't have to explain that. It's called transsexuals now. It ain't called Yaqub.
Huh?
You seeing it in your face right now. See, y'all thought he was crazy for talking about that. Now you're starting to see it right in your face right now, but you can't even talk about it because you get a strike if you start talking about it.
I talked about it.
No, I ain't talking about Yahoo. I'm talking about what you actually seeing Dr. Frankenstein doing now.
Oh. Okay, so so
See,
you were talking about the lab.
You
What's
wasn't ready
created
for
in the
that one,
lab?
was you? You wasn't ready for that
All
one,
right,
was you?
y'all give me up to speed.
Anyway,
What are
yeah,
y'all talking about?
J Speed, look, if you ever want to grow out of the country with me, you know my channel. My email is over there on my community tab. Hit me up. I'll
Yes, sir.
take you in.
Cydia,
Yeah,
will you break him down and make let Bernard catch up with Yaku theory of Elijah Muhammad
yeah.
and how I translate that into where we at today with the
Well, now I
LBGTPESG.
can't. Now that part of it I can't do.
Okay,
But the
well now
first
I'll
part,
do that part, and I'll
yeah,
do it in a
the
way
first
that
part of it, Bernard. Just to, very briefly, a big part of the, I guess you could call it foundation, I guess you could say, of the NOI theology was that an individual by the name of Master Farad Muhammad came along and enlightened Black Americans, one of whom would have been the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The story goes way back when, 6,000 years ago, that the original Asiatic black man of the earth, cream of the earth, had advanced technology, and so it's kind of like an ancient Wakanda, and they had the means by which to graft human beings, and they came up with Yakub. Yakub is the 6,000 year ancestor to what we would today call Caucasians or white people. That's essentially the argument.
Oh, I have heard about that, just not in great detail. Basically, they ultimately created that. Never
Well,
mind.
Yakub created them in his genetic experiments.
Yes, they created white people in
Yes,
a lab.
right.
That was the story. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have heard that.
Okay,
So
well, part
There's,
two of
there's
it.
other details, but that's essentially it in a nutshell.
All right.
And at the experiment went awry. You've seen horror movies. The experiment went awry, and Yakub ran amok, and that's where we are today. That's how that set the stage for what we got today. Okay.
Okay. Well, before we even go down that rabbit hole, the perfect storm in the middle with a $5 super chat. He says, "Going back to watch from the beginning, Negro time." Yes, absolutely. Go back and watch from the beginning. I appreciate that. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. And so what does the story of Yaku have to do with Pablo and whatever the line of questioning was?
Because he wanted me to go to his channel and to explain, I guess, how could that have happened. And I was telling him, you're starting to see it in live time today when a person can become whatever they want to become. And he was talking about genetics way back in the 30s when the word had not even been invented. So there has to be something to the story that we see it in today, that you don't know if you marrying Bill or a Becky. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my
Because you
goodness.
actually you happen to see doctors doing the same thing
Yeah,
today.
so you see what I'm talking about, Bernard. It's just
But Bernard, come on now. I mean, we can't go all the way in this wormhole, but you know what I'm saying, right? You're actually seeing doctors doing exactly what he said doctors was doing back then.
They're creating white people in a
No,
lab.
what I'm just saying is, if you can, wait a minute, what would be so hard to invent a white person versus turning a male into a female? And that's what you're doing today. That's why I say I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
The more extraordinary the claim, the more extraordinary the evidence, and the evidence.
Get out of the rabbit hole. Get out.
That's why I didn't want to go down there.
I'm climbing out.
I went down it and I had to leave, no doubt.
Hey, Bernard.
Yes.
Tell me where is a native chicken anywhere or a native cow anywhere in the world. So you want to know how far this stuff goes back? You can't tell me where a native chicken came from or a native cow. You won't find them in the wild nowhere.
Well, you won't find it in the wild, but we selectively bred those farm animals until they were exactly what we wanted. So
okay, yeah. Well, where you get light skinned people and dark skinned people from?
Per the accepted theory is that when people migrated out of Africa and went to different climates and different environments, caused for different adaptations, and just gradually over time, skin got lighter, and there was a few changes, a few small
Okay,
changes.
how about us in America then?
That's not a question.
I'm
I
saying, how
understand.
about the blacks in America? How you get the different color lines in America, blacks, the light
You
skin,
mean,
dark skin?
oh, that's easy. Once there was all different shades of people, and a lot of those people separated over thousands of years, and those people came back together. Yeah, they were a little
But we
different.
only
So when
been here
they
200
went,
years.
who's been here 200 years?
We've been here over 200 years, black people. How you get the different shades of black people here?
Obviously, interracial mixing, breeding.
Okay, so what would that be any different from someone doing that as we've been doing in our community so long? Oh, I want the good hair. I want the light skin. I'm gonna choose this person for this person. And what would
Oh,
be
well,
any
hold
different?
on. No, the problem is you said Yaku. That's one individual. A human breeding experiment like that, where you're dealing with a population of everybody who looks the same, but selectively breeding for certain attributes. That's a generational thing. And seeing as it takes so long to get another generation of humans, we're not fruit flies. That experiment would outlive Yaku. It would have to be, he'd have to pass his work down to another science, who passed the work down to another science, passed the work down to another science, before you got people who started looking different based off selective breeding.
Oh, okay, well, what about the generational people here? Let me just give you an idea. You look at basketball today and go back 25 years ago and look at basketball then, you'll see how this shit really works.
Get out of there.
Basketball
I'm gonna
20
try to.
Get out of there. Get out of
that
Yeah,
was
there.
but you know what
1990.
I'm saying.
Get out
No,
of
I
that rabbit
don't. That
hole,
was
man.
that was 1996.
Pablo know what I'm saying. Pablo,
Look,
you
man,
might
and
not
yeah,
agree
and I
along with
got a
me.
headache doing it over there, and
I
we
know,
we,
but you
we
probably don't
debunked.
want to agree along with, but you know exactly what
No,
I'm saying.
we debunked that foolery. Get out of there, Bernard.
How
All
you
right,
debunk it?
low end theory in the building with a $5 super chat. He says Yakub is a theory, no historical data, nothing revealed in a dream without real evidence is a theory. Well, you're using theory wrong. I understand what you're saying. So
Here's my
I'm
response
not even
to
going
you.
to nitpick. He says stay on topic. Well, in the this late in the show, the topic just gets
You know, I
all over
Yeah,
the
always
place.
say
So
that.
I ain't
here's
tripping.
my
I ain't tripping.
response to the
But
Yakub stuff. My response to the Yakub stuff is called a DNA haplogroup map.
uh-oh.
You ever heard of it?
No, Stevie Wonder, I know you're gonna tell me about it though. Come on.
It's called a DNA haplogroup map. And what it is, geneticists, scientists have mapped out the human genome
Uh-oh. Get out of there with all that sciencey stuff, Pablo. No, that's not
using
going. No.
using DNA of all the peoples of the earth. And you know what they found out? You can literally see the human migration from out of East Africa up into North Africa and across the Arabian Peninsula and into Europe.
And that's
That's
why
my
I say you prove my
and that's
point.
my response to Yakub.
But that's why you prove my point. You prove my point, really. You don't want to think about it, but you prove my point. Because even if you use the word genetic, DNA, whatever you want to call it, the process is what I'm talking about. You're never gonna be able to get around what's in that process.
The
And we
process
do
is
it
called
among each other,
travel.
and y'all call it
The
today
process is
colorism. Y'all
called
call it colorism. Y'all call it all
travel.
kinds of stuff. You call it all kinds of stuff, but you can say what you want to say. It's still a process.
Shout out to Mr. Fantastic in the building. This is my first time speaking to the brother since he been back from the sea. So shout out to Fantastic. You need to get Tinfoil Tuesday back up and running, and bring OGJ Speed on there and just let him just let him throw stuff out there. And yeah, that's because I can't take this no more.
Yeah, because it makes your ears swell up. I don't understand, but no.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now. We know, like there's certain topics that we as people who because it's supposed to be entertaining too. Don't supposed to get that serious. But Pablo started this. He likes starting fights like this because we wasn't even talking about Yaku. But he had to slide that on in because I really don't believe he want me over his channel.
Are you serious right
I would
now?
break both his
Calling
legs
me
and his
People
kneecaps.
all right.
with this story.
Brother Love show. That's funny, Brother Love. brother Brother Love show in the building with the $2 super chat. I definitely appreciate that. And also shout out to we got Perfect Storm back in here once again. Says this is an example of a mind on mythology. Yeah, but moving right along. We gotta
I gotta go back to work. Nice chatting with y'all, man.
Absolutely, Pablo. Absolutely.
You got a job, Pablo?
Yeah, very good one. I'm
I
going
thought
back
you were
to
like
it.
Tommy on Martin. You didn't. Nobody know what you did. I didn't know you had a job. You always up over these channels. I hope you ain't making nothing I have to use. It's important.
No. I move around. I travel around all day. I spend half my day in the office and half my day out driving around.
I hope he building the steering column for your car. That's what I hope Pablo doing. Very distracting.
Yeah, you want me to crash?
But all right. We close it in. We close it in on the end. I know I normally do 3 hours, but Obsidian, you definitely came up and spoke on a few topics. I had a number. What did we talk about? We spoke on the Jada thing, the Halloween thing. That's the last thing I throw at you, Obsidian, because I was going to do it's actually the main topic in this show is going to be about this, but I haven't been on the air, so I kind of front loaded it with too much stuff. But the meritocracy thing, I do want to just run that by you. The notion that you look at a lot of Black folks who are actually doing well in this country. They're successful in this country, but they're talking about everything that's wrong with the system. And I would argue, and I think most sensible people would argue, that in America, we live in a meritocracy. And so just the utter absurdity of people who've become successful off their merit is they complain and try like they want to they want to break the meritocracy system that they're succeeding in because they have merit. Like that notion that came up.
Can you give me an example? I hear what you're saying, but so we can get more clarity on this, could you give me a if you can, a bit more precise example of these people doing what you're talking about?
Yeah, he lost me in the first word.
Oh, cut it out, OG. Okay, a more precise example. I was going to actually I had a clip ready to go. It was a conversation between Ben Shapiro and a gentleman whose name slips my mind. It was when they were on Bill Maher. They were talking about critical race theory.
Oh, excellent! You got that clip?
Yeah. I'll pull out. Yeah, I guess I'll. It's easy to find. So just give me a second. I'll give you.
While you pulling that up, but not, I do want to say this. While y'all was talking about the Will Smith and JDP, y'all will never be able to understand that because that's a Hollywood marriage put together. And so all the theories y'all try to put behind it, it won't even make sense because y'all don't understand how that machine works in Hollywood. I want to know if you sagging, because I just looked at your picture. You look like you sagging over there. Oh man, I see your sweater, but then I'm trying to figure out them underwears you sagging. I mean,
no, that's my shirt from underneath.
Oh, okay, got you.
Jeez. Yeah, fair use. But I'll let this. Hold on, let me. I'm getting bad background. I don't know who that was coming from. But fair use. I'll let this roll from about this point, from the 27-second mark to about the 3-minute mark. They were asking just a definition on critical race theory, and so we'll let it roll from there, and y'all get a picture of what I'm talking about. Or I think the kill shot argument that that Ben Shapiro put on the gentleman Malcolm Nance. All right, here we go.
And I think no one knows exactly what it is. They know it has something to do with race, and it's some kind of a theory, right? How would you describe it? And then we'll ask, how would you describe what is critical race theory?
I will admit that I read a lot of critical race theory in law school. So, the work of Derek Bell or Gene Stefanczyk
This is
and
the
Richard
stuff
Delgado.
no one knows but you and 6 other people.
Right. So,
but what matters is what is it practically? It's being taught in schools or some form of.
Yes, there's a certain sort of crystallized version of it that is a lot less complex than what critical race theory actually is. But critical race theory essentially argues that racism is baked into all the systems of American society, and that any sort of neutral system is in fact a guise for racial power. And so the argument is made by Derek Bell, for example, that Brown versus Board of Education, this is an argument he made in 1991, that Brown versus Board of Education was actually a way for the white community to leverage its own power. It wasn't an attempt to end segregation in public schools. Even things that are purportedly good in terms of race, so long as they uphold these broader systems, things like capitalism or things like the meritocracy, these things are actually just guises for power. And so what that boils down to in sort of practical terms is all disparity equals discrimination. If you can see any stat where black people are underperforming white people, this means the system was set up for the benefit of white people, and that white people have a duty to tear down these systems in order to alleviate the racism that's implicit in those systems. When it comes to schools, what this tends to boil down to is kids who are white have experienced privilege because the system was built for white people, and we have to change the standards.
Right. Now, okay, well, so Malcolm, you tell me your definition.
Oh, I agree with everything he just said.
Oh, great.
And I appreciate you being honest in defining of what it's like to be Black American. Right? That is, I mean, we're talking about a system.
That's unfair.
No, I'm just saying I agree with all those suppositions because they are grounded in truth. Look, and the funny thing is, it's not just African Americans, right? It's also the Scalp Act of 1749, where for $300 modern dollars, you had to cut off the head or the hair of an Indian to prove that you got them out of the way so they could settle. That's a little bit of American history that people should know about. The Chinese Exclusion Acts of the 1840s. These are things we don't talk about.
It's not true that people don't talk about these things. We all did learn about.
You don't want them talked about?
No, that's not true either.
You want to cancel them?
No, Malcolm, I'm sorry, you're lying. That's lying. It is lying. I've personally talked about many of the things that you just mentioned. I defined critical race theory by citing the actual authors of critical race theory, and you seem to be a pretty good beneficiary of the meritocracy because you have merit, Malcolm. So if you're going to criticize the meritocracy as an outgrowth of white supremacy, then you're going to have to tear down the system that you've succeeded in because you have merit or do not have merit.
When my great-great-grandfather ran away from.
All right, that was the general point that got me thinking down that path, where I think Ben Shapiro just made a kill shot argument to him, and then he just did what OG do, and OG get lose the argument. He just he's about to take it back to slavery. That's why he starts saying my great grandfather, and he's about to bring up slavery. So
are you saying me and this brother is connected?
When they get on the ropes, they just say slavery. But anyway, that was sort of what my whole thought process was predicated on there, Obsidian. I passed to you for your thoughts on that. But first, shout out to I probably lost that super chat, but shout out. I don't even know if I acknowledged it, but oh yeah, I did acknowledge Brother Love Show. Shout out to Brother Love Show. Shout out to Perfect Storm. It was another one that I'm trying to find. Nothing will make you parrot like a religion. Low end theory in the building. Nothing will make you parrot like religion. That's really small. I got to figure that out too, how to get that bigger, because that's my monitor is too far away. But okay, all right.
Omega, I know you would agree with that.
You saw the clip, Obsidian. What's your general thoughts on the point that Ben Shapiro made there?
Okay, I'm going to step aside from what Shapiro said and come at this just purely on my own. Okay, so yes, we have Black America. First of all, Black Americans, all of us, have benefited from the movements of the 60s and 70s, civil rights, and so on. We all have benefited from that. And if you question whether we all have not benefited from it, then you tell me the last time a night rider set up shop in front of your house and burnt the cross. You tell me the last time you had to, be remanded to the water fountain for colors only, or sit on the back of the bus by force. You tell me the last time you had dogs and stuff sicked on you, or ran the risk of getting blown up in a church. We all have benefited from this. Now, have we all benefited from it in equal measure to equal degrees? No, we have not. No. But what I would say is that those of us who have succeeded in a conspicuous way, they really are in a pickle, because they have to take, as Ben Shapiro rightly noted, you benefited from the very system that you're criticizing. So the real question becomes for me is, for these people who have succeeded, is what's really their problem? They never really articulate, like you just got finished saying with this gentleman, Malcolm, whatever his name is.
Malcolm Lance. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Malcolm Lance. Malcolm Lance was the.
He keeps harkening back to events that none of us were alive to witness and that have been rectified. So exactly what is his problem today, right now? What is his problem exactly? If the argument is police brutality, there's a way to fix that. You can start locally. Locally meaning being registered to vote and serve on juries. Locally meaning, won't you become a policeman? Get into the system, become a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, an assistant, a commissioner, deputy commissioner, or commissioner. Won't you get on the alderman or city council where you can steer these things? There are processes in place for black people to make things better if we want to. But again, here's the trick. Those are the same processes that them evil white men's made. What exactly is the problem? As you pointed out, Bernard, these people have made it. See, it's survivor's guilt. I already know the answer. Survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And see, I have no survivor's guilt. I was just talking about this online just the other day, and I asked the question, why is it that smart brothers, why is so many black women, yeah, I'm bringing it back to that. Why do so many black women have a problem with really smart brothers? They ain't got no problem with brothers that brag on themselves in sports, rappers, but they got a problem with brothers that don't make any apologies for the fact that they're really smart and they use their brains to get on in this world. Why do they got a problem with that? Why can't they simply say, you know what? I can't take nothing away from those brothers, man. Good on them. They're just not my cup of tea. And just leave it at that. I wish them well. It just ain't for me. No, they got to demonize the brothers. They're socially awkward. It's their delivery. No, why can't you just simply say, hey, look, it's just not my cup of tea? I'll tell you why. Because those brothers you can't intimidate. You have to actually contend with them. You ain't going to bully them around. You ain't going to boss them around. You got to bring something to the table. See, notice how black women don't like that. The very question they've been pillaring black men with for decades. Now it's flipped around. Ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, is it? See, a lot of black people whom we're talking about, they got survivor's guilt. I don't. I make no apology for the fact that I bust my ass to get where I am right now. I am Horatio Alger, just in a black form. I got it out the mud, as they call it. And I make no apology for that. I don't make no apology for being successful. I don't make no apology for being smart. I don't make no apology for being ambitious. No, I don't. And I'm not going to suffer anybody, black women or otherwise, because they feel funny or they feel inadequate because I'm doing the damn thing. No, I'm not. No. Racism ain't my problem. The white man ain't my problem. You want to know what my problem is? Other people who happen to look like me, who are clinging to the past and want to have a mad on with the world because they ain't getting on. That's my problem.
Well said. Well said. Well said.
You see, Bernard, I wanted to say something.
Oh,
you see,
I was ready to get off the air.
All right, just to let me have a moment. There's nothing that old man just said that I disagree with. And he came from some of that cloth that I was raised in. So he know I don't disagree with nothing he just said. The only difference between what he said, I speak for the people, he said all of us not, and that's not including me, but he said all of us didn't succeed in the same way. Some of us didn't benefit as much as others. But the problem with that story is not with his story, but I'm just saying the problem with the story, what y'all don't get from me is I'm telling the people who didn't succeed with, this is why, but you do have processes out there where you can do just as good as Acedia or me or anyone else. But I think when people hear me talk, don't close that eye right there. You go look like you're sleeping on your own show.
Well, I mean, when
You
I
understand
passed
what I'm
you the
saying?
mic. Yeah. Okay.
What I'm saying is I agree along with what he said 100%. I just speak for the person who don't have the voice or don't have the understanding. That's all the difference between what he said and what I believe and what I do.
Right. Yeah, I was muted for a second. My bad. I had to mute up. But all right, we about to get up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody who came through today. I see I got everything. I'm tweaking it. It's getting better every show, getting everything set up and running with the new setup. But I appreciate everybody who came through, everybody who shout out to Stephens Cole once again. Sent that $100 cash app. KD came through also with a heavy-handed cash app. Appreciate everybody in the stream, in the building. Shout out to all of y'all, and we are out of here.
Put your cash app in back chat.
Thank you.
My cash app is right there on the screen. Thank you.
I'm looking in the private.